on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Andrew Salciunas with the day off, so I'm Connor Thomas alongside John Kincade, the proud owner of a brand new car.
Oh, wow. Did you see that? You guys didn't see that coming.
No, we did not. Thought it was going to be a trip.
You thought it would be a trip? Thought it would be a trip. It ended up being a car. We got plenty of time to talk about that, though.
Yeah, the only free trips that were given out yesterday were Aaron Nola to the baseballs at Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah,
the
there
Phillies,
were plenty of that.
blowing a 5-0 early lead. Aaron Nola getting shelled. We're going to get into that a little bit later here, but the Phillies dropped game 1 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now 3.5 games back as the Braves were idle last night. But today is June 30th, the final day of the month of June, the 6th month of the year.
Halfway home, right, baby?
That would be it. Technically, I believe it's July 2nd mathematically, but once the first 6 months of the year are done, let's just call it the halfway point of 2026.
The fiscal year for a lot of businesses are done. I mean, this is the halfway point. This is the fiscal year for many is done. Now we start to look towards the second half of the year.
Now, I always feel like, and maybe it's football season. Maybe that's what does it to me. I always feel like the second half of the sports calendar, July on, is the longer feeling portion of the year.
So you think the football portion of the year is longer?
I do. There's just more going on because you get into that. By the time that you get into January and February, unless your team is a deep, deep playoff contender, your season's likely over or shortly comes to an end. And then you have just hockey and basketball and baseball kicks in a little bit. But you have, when you get to like that October portion, all 4 teams will be active, and that always feels busier to me.
See, I always think the second half of the year moves much faster to me.
Yeah, maybe
I think it's going down.
On.
I always feel like it's a absolute sprint the second half of the year. The first half of the year can drag a little bit for me, especially if our winter sports teams aren't giving us as much as we desire.
But this year, interestingly enough, we got more than we bargained for with both of the winter sports teams.
I know we did.
And the Eagles are an interesting part of this equation as we lead you into our big question of the day. As we hit the halfway point of the 2026 calendar, I want you to answer a gut feel question for me today. Like right now, I want you to say it out loud as you hear it. The first thing that comes to your mind. Simple yes or no question.
Okay.
Have we had a successful first half of the year in Philadelphia sports? Gut feel, Johnny.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Huh.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Did you expect to win a first-round series against Boston?
I did not.
Did you expect to win a first-round series for the Flyers going into the year?
No.
Successful year.
Well, those 2 teams aren't the only 2 that we have to evaluate.
Well,
on the other hand, you've seen the Philadelphia Eagles with another early postseason
that was
collapse.
bad. That was bad, and they were only, remember, that was like 10 days into the year.
And an offseason that saw their number 1 wide receiver force his way out of town.
See, I consider that a positive.
We'll have to see.
I consider it a positive. When I got a guy who doesn't want to be here, get him out. Get him out. Gone. Done. Right. Get him out.
And guess
I
what?
consider that a positive.
You got to deal with the fallout now, though, of maybe the wide receiver room not being as talented. And you have an offense completely changing. They fired an OC, and that's a lot different than replacing a guy who won you a Super Bowl, like when Kellen Moore moved to the head coach spot in New Orleans. I always feel better about, hey, this guy did an incredible job. Now we have to replace him because that means the team was successful. This is more what we were doing was not working. And that's not just a Kevin Patullo thing for the Philadelphia Eagles. That was an offensive philosophy that the Philadelphia Eagles have now tried to turn away from. And we'll have to see in the second half of this year if that plays out. But it's hard to look at what the Philadelphia Eagles have done just since the start of the 2026 calendar and say they've been, quote-unquote, successful.
I look at it, though, and say as a year, I got to look at it collectively. We put so much on the Eagles. So much of our psyche in this town gets put on what the Eagles did or didn't do. To me, I got to put it on the entire entity of Philadelphia sports. And to me, I look at it and say, it's been a really, really good year. It's been a good year because both of the winter teams did more than we expected them to do.
Yes.
I like what the Sixers have done as far as I like more young talent that gets me intrigued.
Okay.
So that gets me excited now. We've seen a little bit of a draft. I am not like Flyers Twitter. I'm not negative on where the Flyers are right now either. So I feel very good about the Flyers' future. They have a lot to do, but I feel very good about it. The Phillies are right there in the top wild card spot. I feel like it's been a really, really good start to 2026 right now. I'm feeling good about it.
My answer to that question, gut feel, would be no. And
I got to hear this because it's interesting because we purposely did not talk about this as we don't do the show before the show. I'm fascinated as to why not.
I don't think the Eagles have done anything in this calendar year that I can look at and say definitively successful. I think they've put themselves in position to be successful in the second half of the year.
Which is fair.
But I don't think any of the stuff that we know concretely right now, we could say, yes, that is a success for the Eagles. Their season ended with a disappointing playoff loss. The offseason has been more retooling than building, which is fine because they have plenty of talent. But the coaching staff is still TBD, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Are you going to be a fan, though? Are you going to be one of those fans who laments and can't get over the breakup with A.J. Brown?
Oh, no, I'm not so much worried about the breakup.
When I'm gone,
yeah.
Am I going to be checking in with you and you're going to be like, man, I tell you, but A.J. Brown, look what A.J. Brown's doing. I don't give a flip what A.J. Brown does like the rest of his career. I will root for his absolute failure in New England and thank him for what he accomplished here, but I will be rooting for his failure actively.
Yeah, but if I see Devontae Smith get locked up because he doesn't have the big-body target next to him that A.J. Brown was, and Mekhi Lemon is just a slot guy in his rookie year, which I don't want to put it all on a rookie.
No, you can't.
But
that wouldn't be fair.
Guys like Dontavian Wicks don't exceed expectations or get to the expectations of a higher role here in Philadelphia than maybe what we saw in Green Bay, because they're going to need it. Then I'm going to be looking and saying it'd be really nice to have number 11 on this team.
Oh, no. There's going to be, look, you don't lose a talent like A.J. Brown and say to yourself there's not going to be any kind of lapse. But what I would say to you is this. When you got a guy like A.J. Brown who was a quitter who half-assed things, I'm glad to have him gone. The Eagles are better. That's addition by subtraction. When you got a quitter on your team, when you have somebody who's not rowing the boat in the same direction, when you have somebody who literally puts their own needs ahead of yours, get him the hell out. Like, I think that in the long run, the Eagles are a better organization because of it.
Yeah, but I've seen more bad teams with good chemistry than I have seen, like, talented teams with poor chemistry fail. Like, if you have talent, I believe you're going to be successful.
Okay, give me the teams in Philadelphia recently. Just go on the teams that you consider successful. Do you know any of them that had bad chemistry?
I don't think that the Phillies in 2022, in large part when they went to the World Series, were a team with amazing chemistry.
The Phillies themselves, though. I don't think that team had bad chemistry.
I mean, they got their manager fired, and they weren't having a lot of positive stuff coming out of that locker room until they started winning.
Yeah, but I don't think there was no internal strife with that team.
I mean, once they changed manager, which is something that we're seeing.
They didn't like the manager.
That's part of the team chemistry.
Yeah, but
He's in the clubhouse.
They were fine themselves. They didn't like the manager.
Yeah.
They were almost too complacent, sort of why they got a manager fired this year. The Phillies just have the Phillies have a locker room of guys, and many of them are the same guys who were here before that put their feet up a lot.
Yeah.
And by the way, Bryce Harper's been a part of that. Kyle Schwarber's been a part of that. These guys are being a part of these. That Trey Turner, they're very comfortable. And that's what you get when you get 13-year contracts and big money, and the guys get comfortable and they're not pushed.
Just to me, talent will always outweigh chemistry.
I would absolutely agree with you.
And
I would agree with you.
A.J. Brown's talent cannot be understated in that whole thing.
But the thing is, though, I can't, in the Philadelphia sports equation, the Flyers and the Sixers stories were amazing.
They were. But do they outweigh the Phillies starting 9-19, getting a manager fired?
No, because it's June 30th. I want you to look at the Phillies in the entirety and say they're the number one wild card. They're in the fourth. They're the fourth best record. Well, are they the fourth best? Yeah, the fourth best record in the National League. They are going to be right now. They should. Worst case scenario be the top wild card in the National League, host a playoff series, and then go into it. The last two times that they did something like that, they went to the World Series and the NLCS.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the Phillies have had a successful 2026, though. I would not say that. I would say that this offseason, you saw them do minimal stuff to change this roster where other teams had some opportunities.
And I'm not happy with what they've done, so I get you.
I saw them start slow and play very lethargically for a team that is way too talented to start the season the way they did.
They started slow, but it's June 30th. You got to look at where they're at.
And where they're at is where they should be. So is it success if you meet the mark while also having a slow start? To me, it's not. Now, it doesn't mean they can't end up having a successful season. But I would say to this point, if you're hitting baseline level of what you should expect with the talent on this team, and the way you had to get there was a wake-up call from your front office and your ownership firing a manager, then that's not a successful season to this point.
Like I think I said 94 at the start of the year for the Phillies. And I guess I just sort of think that's where they're going to end up and where they're going to be. They're not getting there the way that I thought they would, but that's par for the course with me. I many times, like the path that I think a team's going to take, they may do I may say, I think the Eagles are going to go 12-5. And the Eagles maybe end up going 12-5. Mm-hmm. But the way that I told you the Eagles were going to get to 12-5 is completely different. So it's like I could say, had it right. Eagles went 12-5. But the way I told you they were going to get there is completely different than the way they ended up getting there.
It's all about perspective. You talk about par.
I feel very positive about Philly sports 2026 because, as I say to you, I'm a selfish bastard, and we do this job for a living. This has been the best winter. This was the best winter time, and you and I have been together for all 6 of the winters that I was home for. This has been the best one we've ever had as far as content. By far.
Yeah.
I mean, not even.
We can't just look at it as content.
Yes, but I'm looking at that because the content means that's what the Philly sports fan has had to consume.
But in 2024, they consumed the Super Bowl championship.
No, they consumed
that outweighs forever to me the Flyers winning a first-round series and the Sixers winning a first-round series.
I got you, but they consumed the Super Bowl championship on February the 8th.
Yeah.
I mean, it was over February the 8th. The parade was done on Valentine's Day, and then we just talked about it for 4 months?
Yeah,
this is June 30th.
Listen, you continue to enjoy that. We didn't talk.
I mean, I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. But the idea to me is that this was a winter of so much more for Philly sports fans where I think 2026 has given you more. There's more faith that the Sixers have a future than a year ago. There's more faith that the Flyers have a future than a year ago. I think the Eagles are in a fine position with one of the younger, talented rosters in football, with Howie Roseman and with a malcontent loser up in now heading up to New England. I'm loving that. Love the Eagles' future. And I never worry about the Eagles' future. So, I mean, I think we're in good shape. And the Phillies, hey, whatever.
Yeah, we'll get to projecting, but just from where we've been, I can't say it's been a successful 2026 sports calendar. Like the first half of the year, I don't feel, my gut feel is no.
You put so much on the Eagles then.
And the Phillies.
Put so much. Yeah.
So the par thing that I wanted to bring up, like if you shoot a round of golf and your final score is 72. Now let's live in a world where we normally shoot 72 because I know neither of us are doing that regularly.
Regularly?
Let's
regularly?
Say, or ever.
How about ever?
Let's say you shoot 72, but you open up your first 3 holes are like 10, 8, 8. And then you have like a miracle rest of the round to get down to where you were supposed to shoot if you're a scratch golfer. Is that a good round of golf? Or do you look at putting ridiculous scores on the first 3 holes and say, yeah, no, I didn't really play that well. I made some crazy shots to make up for my issues. It's all a matter of perspective. And that's why it'll be a fun question to hear from the people on. The way you
How
get
do you
into
think
that,
it's going to turn out?
I think it's going to be.
How do you think people are going to vote?
I think it's going to be really split.
I think people are going to vote more overwhelmingly your way.
You think more negative?
I think that people are going to put it all on the Eagles and the negativity towards the Phillies.
We'll see how that plays out.
I will be surprised. To me, again, that's going to surprise me because I just think that the city can skew so negative.
Well, by the end of the show, we will see if people are feeling negative or positive today on June 30th, the final day of the month of June. The way you join the show today, 610-632-0975. You can call in the old-fashioned way. You can text us. You can do the new-fashioned way and send us voice memos. We'd love to hear your voice on this lovely summer
haven't been
morning.
doing enough of the voice memos.
I know. I want to hear from
I
some
like the
people.
voice memos.
And the other thing, too, why it would be big today is, like, I want to hear the tone. I want to hear your explanation of why you're choosing yes or no on this question, which, again, is, have we had a successful first half of the year in Philadelphia sports?
Did you like last year's Phillies season a lot better? Like last season's Phillies season? Like, did you feel, do you think last year the Phillies were a first-place team?
Yeah.
That's fine. So you felt better about them. The Phillies last year on June 30th were 3 games better.
It's not a huge difference.
They were 3 wins better. They were 50-35.
I know. It's not a huge difference.
It's like it's not a big difference. It's just the way they got there.
Exactly. But the way they got there kind of matters for how you project who this team is as a whole.
Well, what I would say to you is the worst Phillies team of the run that they've been on, the current run, the worst Phillies team went to Game 6 of the World Series. The worst team that we would have talked about on June 30th went to Game 6 of the World Series. Mm-hmm. The best team went out in flames against the Mets. So, it's like on June 30th, as we look today, what we think we know, as Jim Morris said, what you think you know, you don't know. Because the best Phillies team on June 30th flamed out against the Mets. The worst playoff loss to me was the Mets series.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They lost to the Mets.
Diamondbacks, too.
Lost to the Mets. Wait, but you at least had already won.
Yes.
Against the Diamondbacks, you'd already won 2 series. Mm-hmm. So you had some success. The best Phillies team lost to the Mets. The second best team lost to the Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm not calling. I want to be clear. I'm not calling the 2026 season for the Phillies a non-successful
I got you.
season.
No, I got you.
And we'll get into, as the show goes on, we'll build in the projections. But just looking back at this point, I want you to answer that question for us on the phone line, on the text line. Have we had a successful first half of the year in Philadelphia sports? If I was just asking about Aaron Nola, the answer would be definitively no. Hell, if I asked you if you had a good 2025, it would be no. And the good news is he's only signed through 2030. So, again, as you watch
2030.
As you watch him last night blow a 5-0 lead for the Phillies in a game that they should have comfortably won over a Pirates team that has been scuffling a little bit lately. Now, they could score runs, and they've had a successful month of June scoring, but you had everything in front of you to just coast your way to a win in that game, and you end up getting shelled. Aaron Nola's a mess right now, and this might be the quickest turnaround on an opinion that I've ever had. I am starting to come around to the idea of trading for a back end of the rotation starter at the deadline, because I don't know how you sustain this with what they're doing with Andrew Painter's previously held spot. Alan Rodhell does not seem like an answer to me.
Okay.
Though I do want to see him actually start a game instead of them doing the stupid opener.
I would agree with you.
And Nola is just, his ERA is over 6.
I welcome you to the party. I welcome you in. Come on in the pool. The water's fine. I just said this yesterday. The Phillies need a starter. And I was shocked yesterday listening to Unfiltered, really good stuff with Bill and Ricky Bowe. And Ricky Bowe was like, the last thing he's worried about is a 5th starter. Hey, Ricky. I respect Ricky's opinion on pitching more than anybody's and his baseball opinion of anybody at this station. But, Ricky, you got to worry about a 4th starter. I don't know how the hell you're not worried about a 5th starter, because this is unsustainable.
Yeah, what Ricky's seeing is what Ansan talked with us about yesterday, which is that when you get to the postseason, you probably only need 3 guys.
Well, guess what? I don't care about, right now, you can't burn everybody down trying to hold your head above water.
Exactly.
This team's drowning.
Now, if you think that they're going to find a way into the postseason, regardless of what happens in the 4th and 5th spots in the rotation,
and we believe they will, right?
Then maybe you don't want to do it because you say, hey, we'll get there anyway. Let's just wear it 2 out of 5 days.
What's your bullpen going to look like by the time you get there?
That's the issue.
If you do that.
That is the issue.
If you do that, are you going to have anybody but a rubber band arm that's available to you?
The bullpen's already started to get more shaky as we continue through the season. No, I don't think that's necessarily because of the starting pitching. I think that's just maybe a midseason lull. But, if this bullpen gets shaky and you only have 3 starters, we get to the point where if you're in a stretch run for the division, you're going to have a hard time keeping up with a hot team if Atlanta gets hot or if a wild card race happens.
But you brought up yesterday, do you care? And you don't. You don't care about that. Some people will.
I don't care about the division, but
exactly.
I do care about burning out arms.
No, you care. You're saying with that, Is that makes, and that to me makes a lot of sense. Is that, but right now you're saying, wow, this team, I personally, I don't care about the division. Like, I don't give a damn about the division.
Yeah.
Really at all. Not at all.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. But, like, you need to survive the regular season. And in the war of attrition, the Philadelphia Phillies are already down to 3 out of 5 starters that you actually trust to go out there and give you even a quality start. Now, the good news is you got Sanchez and Wheeler in the next 2 games. And this is the balance, right? It will balance out because the top end is so good. But, man, I'm coming around on them getting a starting pitcher. Are you? We'll add that to the conversation. Would you be okay with the Phillies' big acquisition at the deadline being a starter, one of the points of strength of this team for so many years? Because it feels like they might need a little bit more depth there if you watch last night's game. Also, our question on how successful, or if it's been successful, the start of the 2026 calendar as we hit the end of the month of June. A lot of great stuff to get into. Coming up next, which team has had the best 2026 so far? Which one stands out amongst their peers? I don't think it's an easy question to answer. We'll get into that, and we'll open up our poll question. It is Kincade Salciunas. Andrew with the day off. I'm next to John Kincade. I'm Connor Thomas, and Austin Jones on the board. Back after this here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies walked the plank. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies dropped Game 1 against the Pirates as the team jumped out to a 5-0 lead. But it fell apart in the 5th inning where the Pirates scored 6 runs and never looked back for an 11-7 win. Aaron Nola started the game out strong but started to falter. Interim manager Don Mattingly isn't necessarily sure where Nola went wrong.
Thought he was going to roll. The way he was throwing the ball, it seemed sharp. Good breaking ball down in the zone. Kind of a lot of swing and miss early in the game and then just got sideways. So I'm not quite sure what happened, kind of after that.
Tonight, Christopher Sanchez is going to be on the mound versus Bubba Chandler, with first pitch being at 6:40. The 76ers picked up the team options on Don Barlow and Daylon Terry. They did decline the team option on Trendon Watford. NBA free agency is set to start today at 6 p.m. There was big news in the NBA yesterday as the Memphis Grizzlies traded Ja Morant to the Portland Trail Blazers. We'll keep you posted on any NBA moves throughout the day. Developmental camp is underway for the Flyers this week with a scrimmage on Thursday and a 3v3 on Friday. Both events are open to the public. This update is brought to you by Staples. Staples Easy Deal Days are here. Now you can score up to 50% off more than 1,000 and on more than 1,000 products in the store and online. Hurry into Staples today. It all ends on July 4th. Staples, that was easy. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
You tell it like it is, and so do we. Middays with Marks, with John Marks, Sean Brace, and Ray Dunn.
Every weekday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Watch them on the Fanatics YouTube channel or listen right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details.
Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
The final day of the month of June, and with that, we are about to hit the halfway point of the 2026 year. So we're looking at the first half of the Philadelphia sports year and whether or not it has been a success today. Andrew Salciunas off for the week, enjoying some vacation time. So I'm Connor Thomas alongside John Kincade. And I also want to take a look forward, too. We were doing a little bit of that in the opening segment.
You're looking forward.
Which we will get a little bit of projection into the second half of the season. I don't think that this will be an unsuccessful year. So when I say no to the question of has this been a successful first half of 2026, I don't want people to take that as this year is going to be a failure.
I just, though, listen to you and I go, then you must have thought the last year sucked. Unless you're just making it an Eagles topic, you must have thought the last year sucked.
Well, listen,
because
everybody...
all the other years that I put it in comparison to, 25, 24, 23, 22, they were all worse. They were all worse. Because unless you make it just an Eagles topic, we absolutely have had a better year.
The Super Bowl carries a lot of weight to me, Johnny.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an Eagles topic.
No, it's not just...
But I think for a lot of people in Philly, they argue that the Eagles, it's just the Eagles consume. If the Eagles had a good year, if the Eagles had a good January, then it's been successful. Whereas I look at it as the Philly sports scene. We absolutely have had the most successful 2026 has been more successful than I'm going to argue that we've had in maybe this decade.
How about this? If the Eagles go to the Super Bowl in 2024 and they were to lose to the Chiefs, I would agree with you. Like, I'm interested to see, as people check in on this conversation, is winning a championship for one of your teams an automatic, the first half of this sports year has been successful? Like, does that overrule everything? Whether it's the Sixers, Flyers, Eagles.
Oh, you know the answer to that.
Yeah, but this is where I think you two are nuts. Like, it's because what the Eagles do has nothing to do with what the Sixers and Flyers do to me.
No, it doesn't. But overall, you still wake up in a good mood because you think back at February 8th and you're like, wow, the Eagles got their lick back against the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't get me wrong. I'm still frustrated in regards to how the Phillies ended up in regards to the postseason and everything. I actually disagree with Connor. But in that point, in regards to like the Super Bowl, you know, making people feel good and making people feel happy for most part of the season, I do believe that because it's the Eagles.
Yeah, I just think the Eagles consume so much of our bandwidth. And that's why I think, Connor, most people will agree with you. Like, I'm not saying you're nuts that your opinion is going to be something that people are going to look at and go, that's stupid. I think most people are going to agree with the two of you knuckleheads. Whereas in reality, this city, I think, is that short-sighted. That is very short-sighted. The Eagles they consume a ton of my bandwidth, but I look at it as, wow, I don't ever remember, especially in recent history, where we had a winter and in a spring where the Sixers and the Flyers gave us so much to say, hey, we're still part of the conversation. Here's part of our future. Here's part of reason to be excited about it.
So let's break this down because I think this is going to tell people and us here a lot more about where you're feeling with you calling this a successful start to the 2026 season. Who has had the best 2026 so far? Of the four major teams in this town, who would you put at number one?
Flyers by a mile.
I would agree with you.
By a mile. The Flyers in a situation where many people, in fact, the odds makers didn't pick them to make the playoffs. They made the playoffs. Then they upset the Penguins and won a series, including winning the first two games of the playoffs in Pittsburgh. They took an underdog team and went to the playoffs, a young team with no experience, young and dumb. What do they say? Tough way to go through life. Yeah. Young and dumb. And they did it. They went through and they did it. So to me, the Flyers, and it's not close because the Flyers have something to build off of that experience. That's playoff experience that cannot be bought.
What's interesting, though, is this is where people start to think about where we sit today. We talked about with the Phillies, the journey and how we've gotten here. Firing your manager,
right.
Starting off slow in a way you never should have with the talent. We just played a clip yesterday about Don Mattingly have to wake up that clubhouse and locker room and everything.
Yeah, because Sleepy Rob had them asleep.
Oh, sleepy players, too.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody deserves fault.
What do you
for
say?
That. You can't just say the manager.
But what do you say, though? Teams take on the personalities of their leadership. And they did. They were nodding off. And it's easy to see when Yeah, we play good ball, and we'll be all right. Everything will be good.
Yeah, but we're not talking nature nurture. These are not 10-year-olds that are learning from their parents. Like, this is a group of 30-year-old men that need to set their own standards.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. In my entire career of being in and out of locker rooms in every professional sport, there are no bigger set of 10-year-olds than baseball players. Baseball players by far on the maturity chart, on the intellectual maturity chart, and everything are absolutely the bottom rung. The bottom rung. NFL locker rooms, NBA locker rooms, NHL locker rooms. Major League Baseball, bottom rung. They are the most privileged, the most in their own little bubble worlds.
Yeah,
they are absolutely, to me, the ones that are the most.
I just can't excuse a bunch of grown men who are making hundreds of millions of dollars.
I don't want to
either. From saying, oh, well, the manager was a little bit like lax with everything, and then all of a sudden you don't care.
Oh, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
I think it's abysmal.
I think it's both.
I think it's abysmal what they did. Absolutely.
Here's the interesting thing. You say the Flyers have had the best 2026 season, or it's 2026 year so far.
Sure.
We're talking about the first half of the year. I agree with you. Austin, would you also say the Flyers?
Yeah, boys, let's go on to the Flyers hype train, because the fact that they were able to get back to the postseason and they beat the Penguins. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Sixers series was nice against Boston, but we knew how that was going to end. The Flyers, they overtook the city, man.
So 3 for 3 in building. But yesterday we had talks with Ant San when he joined us. We talked with Danny Briere about it when he joined us. It's something you kept bringing up, John. Flyers fans upset with the draft, annoyed with the offseason.
Some Flyer, I call it Flyers Twitter.
Right.
Which is Flyers Twitter, which is the America's dumbest Twitter. But it is Philadelphia's dumbest Twitter by a mile. Like the lowest IQ denominator is Flyers Twitter. It's so bad.
I haven't seen a lot from the Flyers fan base, heard a lot. Maybe they've just been dormant because it's the summer and the team is not going to play for a while, and you kind of quiet down on the Flyers and Sixers front when we get to this point of year. I haven't seen a lot of people that are exceedingly positive to the point where they're like, I love what this team is doing this offseason. I love how they're building on this. I haven't seen true negatives where people are just being angry for anger's sake. But I wonder if people would agree that the Flyers have had the best start to the year of 2026. The Eagles have made some interesting moves.
I'd like to know what people did, what they think, what other team did. I'd love to hear the argument about how somebody thinks somebody else did.
Some people may look at the Phillies and where they're at right now and say, hey, they've made up this amount of ground, and the pace they've been on since Don Mattingly took over, they are best set up. Some people might say, hey, the Eagles are true Super Bowl contenders.
And the Eagles are. I mean, the Eagles are in the best position to win a title.
And that may matter to some people when they say who's had the best 2026 to set themselves up.
And they are in the best position to win a title.
So it's all a matter of perspective, and this is why it's such an interesting question. Is there are no numbers where you go, hey, here's what proves my point. It is your perspective on the Philadelphia sports scene today and where we have gone in the last 6 nearly full months. It will be full months at midnight tonight. So let's open up our Twitter poll today. It's brought to us, as always, by Dr. Avidan Appel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. The Twitter poll is going to be strong for all 4 hours here on the morning.
Oh, boy.
They're going to take a little break on middays, and then it's going to be strong for 4 hours in the afternoon.
It could be a little limp in the midday.
Oh, that's okay.
But it's all right. Both those guys,
12 hours is a long time.
I was going to say, is that due to Brace or Marks?
I don't know. Could be.
We'll have to ask them when they get in.
Both of them have made their children. Maybe they're just in that little lull. They get into dad mode. Could be.
What do we have for the Twitter poll today, Austin?
Alrighty, gentlemen. As we get to the halfway point of the year, have we had a successful 2026 so far in Philadelphia sports? Leading the way at 56%, yes, and no at 44%.
That's still closer than I thought, and I absolutely thought that more people were going to go your way, so we're going to see it.
I figured it was going to be tight. I figured this was going to be a close one because I was debating this back and forth as I was putting together the show sheet and thinking through the topic. I was like, I can make arguments on either side here. Now, I genuinely feel that my answer no is where I'm at right now. It's a gut feel question. Like, I need you to shout it out immediately first. And then what I want you to do in your minds as you join the show today out there listening is I want you to conjecture on why you feel that way. We're going backwards on it. It's not here are all of the things that are impacting how I feel, so this is my answer. It's this is my emotional response to the question. Why do I feel that way? Because there's a lot to impact. We're talking 4 different teams all built into one. It's this huge gumbo of Philadelphia sports that has to be combined for this topic. And for me, ultimately, we come out on the minus side.
I just don't want to. You know what's funny is that you just gave a key word. I don't want you to be, and I can't tell you how to feel, but I'm going to, is the idea of the emotional, like being emotional about it. I don't think you can be emotional about it. Like, I think you have to find a way to not be emotional, and you got to be clinical. Now, I tend to be very clinical when I look at these things. You're looking at it more emotionally. And I'll tell you, I think that when you take the emotion out of it, you'll feel much better about how things are with this franchise.
Yeah, we got more than expected, right? When you talk about the Flyers and the Sixers making it to the second round of the postseason. But for me, that doesn't keep me warm at night. And that's not to say, like, the Flyers didn't accomplish more than you expected. It's not to say that I didn't enjoy the Game 7 win over the Boston Celtics by the Philadelphia 76ers. But ultimately, with where my bar is for what success is, I want to see rings. And that's not a fair ask for either of those teams considering what they're up against.
No, it isn't.
But if we're looking at Super Bowl last year, we've looked at World Series contention for the Phillies. We've seen the Sixers try to put together a roster that could contend for a championship and fail at it. Like, the Flyers are kind of in their own pocket because of the recent rebuild. But if I go into season saying, hey, we've got some championship contention windows, second-round series, to me, they might not have the same impact as they do for other fans, which is why your emotion on it is a part of the equation to me. But if you want to be clinical with it and just say simply overperformed expectations with two of the teams that have completed seasons.
I can't deal with, like I would say it before, is I can't deal with your feelings. Yeah. I can just deal with your facts. Okay. Let's deal with the facts. The facts are it's been a better 2026 than the first half of 2025, 24, 23, unless we're just making this an Eagles topic. Unless people tell us differently.
We'll
Maybe
see.
The listeners will.
We'll see on the text line. Fact or feeling. We'll check in on that coming up next.
Yes.
Also, for how upset Flyers fans are, or a portion of the Flyers fan base, with the team not making moves as the rest of the league seems to be active. I'm going to tell you coming up next why another trade in the NBA should show you that Sixers fans should be more upset in that vein this offseason than Flyers fans are. It's Kincade and Salciunas back after this here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Oh, I got to tell you about Kalshi because the world's biggest soccer tournament is heating up in the U.S. And on Kalshi, you can trade every single match from the opening stage all the way to the final. Team USA plays their first knockout round game tomorrow night at 8 p.m. They are trading at an 83% probability to take down Bosnia and Herzegovina, meaning a $100 trade pays out $117 if they win. The knockout rounds, they're totally different. You just saw a team, Paraguay, who USA beat 4-1 in the group stage, knock out Germany, a 4-time winner of the tournament. Crazy stuff happens. So maybe you see a big team out of the way and you say, what can I do on USA winning the whole thing? Well, USA is currently trading at a 3% chance to win it all. That's seventh best on Kalshi. $100 is going to win you $2,402 if you make that trade today. And on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And the probability changes so you can buy in and out of your position whenever you want. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FANATIC to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see Kalshi.com/regulatory. Another big trade in the NBA yesterday. We're going to tell you about that in just 2 minutes here, but we want to check in on what the people are saying about our big topic of the day. We're hitting the halfway point of the 2026 calendar, and with that, has the first half of the 2026 year been a successful one for Philadelphia sports in your estimation? A yes or no question that we have as our Twitter poll, but one that has a lot of layers to it, with all 4 teams in the mix. So, Austin, what do we have from our friends on the text line?
Alrighty, so first text of the day states that they're feeling pretty positive today about Philly sports as a whole, seeing the Flyers knock out the Penguins and now actually play playoff hockey, seeing the Eagles build a new offense without the crybaby, and you already see players loving the system and working harder to get bigger, better, and faster. The Phillies are playing fun baseball, keeps you entertained up until the final out every game. The Sixers have a new GM, creating new hope for the young talent that just took us on a playoff run, knocking out the Celtics.
I love the positivity.
I think the positivity and just the logic. It's logic. It's been a much better, 2026 has been much better.
Well, let's break down the
first
points
half. Remember,
here.
we're just going until June 30th. Like, the Phillies are 3 games behind last year's pace. The Sixers and the Flyers gave us what the 2025 Flyers and Sixers didn't give us. The Flyers in 2025 and 2026, and the Sixers in 2025 compared to 2026. The Sixers were a dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
The Sixers this year gave us a first-round playoff victory against the Celtics.
Yeah, that game 7 was awesome.
It was totally different. There's promise. There's like the whole entity of the first 6 months, which is what this question is. I don't even think this is to me, it's not even a question mark that this has been a better run.
Yeah, I don't think one, and this is not a fault of Mike Yancey. He inherited a situation.
He has
right?
not.
I'm not evaluating his ability.
Sure.
But he's not really giving me new hope for the 76ers.
Well, that's because you've got the 2 albatross that he tacked to.
Right.
But the thing is he can't do anything about that.
Exactly.
So,
I'm just saying that point from the texter, I would contend.
But the other stuff is better. The other stuff is better. They have young players, and they beat the Celtics in a 7-game series, and they won 3 games in Boston.
We'll have to see. I
They
mean,
won 3 out of 4 games at the Boston Garden. Well,
Right.
not the TD Bank Garden.
yeah, I didn't love what I saw from Tyrese Maxey in the second-round series against the Knicks. I need to
did
see
not
more
either.
from him.
I mean, you know those guys are out of gas.
I understand.
VJ and Maxey were playing, 45 out of 48 minutes? You already knew Embiid was already going to be in question. I don't think anybody here was necessarily going to say, like, look, this Sixers team can beat the Knicks. You knew Joel was going to be in doubt. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, getting swept is a horrible feeling. But if you look at it like John is saying, like, Mike Yancey's in charge now, like, you got to have some type of hope. And listen, I know this is very probably hard to say at this point in time, but this is probably the healthiest that Joel and Paul George have been going into an offseason. No,
Don't do that.
No, it's the truth. Have you heard of any surgeries of anything?
Matter.
Yes, it does, Connor, because they can actually go into training camp in shape.
Okay, and guess what's going to happen? They're going to get hurt again.
That's fine. You put it out there. That's on you, brother. Listen, we already know what's going to happen, but I have a better feeling of this team being better going into this NBA season than I do last season because I know 2 out of the 3 guys are actually going to be partially healthy going into the year.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way about this team going into this coming season as I did coming into this last season.
I don't.
Those 3,
I feel a little bit better.
Those 3, enough. Like, I mean, those 2. I really
those
thought.
Maxey doesn't deserve to be in that.
Maxey doesn't do well. Even though
I need to see a little bit more from him.
I've got to tell you, I need to see a little bit more from Maxey of consistency in the playoffs.
In the postseason. Yeah, regular season was awesome.
Yeah,
for
Maxey has a habit of disappearing in playoffs.
Yeah.
Got to be honest. He's
in a weird spot of he's being asked to do.
He gets really, really good. You see him really, really good, and then you see him really, really disappear.
Yeah, I think it's the out of gas thing because there's so many games where he's just like he has to carry the load.
Could be, but
and he's not that type of player. But we'll see how they continue to build around him.
I got you. He's not that type of player. He's a first team wasn't he first team this year? I mean, wasn't he?
He was not.
Wasn't he an NBA starter in the All-Star game?
He was in the All-Star game. Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I don't expect them to be running out of gas and not being able to play in the playoffs because that's what.
Yeah, well, the problem is he's
first team All-Stars.
He's left out there half the time with his second best player being either Kelly Oubre or a 20-year-old rookie. Like he does need more help. He also needs to be better in the postseason. But on that texter's point of like Mike Gansey giving more hope, we're going to have to wait and see on that one. And to the Eagles' point that they brought up about the offensive change, yeah, the players say they like the system. That's better than what we heard from comments about Kevin Patullo. I think they'll be better than the Kevin Patullo offense.
Well, they respect him.
Yes.
That's the big thing. They respect the guy who's in there.
But I've seen guys have respect of their players where it doesn't play out to the positive enough to be a championship contending team. So all I'm saying on the Eagles conversation, wait and see till we even get to training camp before we start making decisions on the new offense. That's all I'll tell you on that. Just hold your horses on some of those things. Now, the conversation on another NBA trade. Yesterday, the Memphis Grizzlies traded Ja Morant to the Portland Trailblazers in exchange for Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. So Ja Morant now out of Memphis. Memphis has moved on from all of their cornerstones, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., and now Ja Morant all gone as they look to head and do a rebuild. Now, forget about the off-the-court stuff. Forget about
How
any
can
of
you
that.
but
No,
you
no,
can't,
no.
though.
That's not part of the conversation that we're
Okay.
trying to have here. I know who Ja Morant is. I know
All right,
the issues
good.
Ja Morant has. Here's all I'm saying. That's another talented basketball player that has been moved this offseason. The Flyers, by choice, are not being an aggressive team. They have assets.
Correct.
They could make some of these moves. They don't believe their team is in a place to make those moves right now, and that's what Danny Briere told us yesterday when he joined us. You can go back and watch that full interview on YouTube or hear the podcast of it on our website. Sixers fans should be way more upset seeing what's going on around the NBA and the moves that are happening.
Well, why should they, though?
Because you have pieces that could legitimately be part of a championship caliber team. The problem is you are locked into contracts that you can't move on from. The Flyers.
And you know who I blame?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's
No, you don't know who I blame.
Daryl Morey?
No, I blame the guy who usually sits in your seat.
Oh,
I blame the guy, Austin, who is usually who will be in there at 10 o'clock in Ray Dunn, and all the other dopes that wouldn't turn off the lights on the Joel Embiid crap.
Oh, you didn't. I was
blame-
done. You didn't
No,
hear my take on
I'm
it.
saying
Oh,
Ray
you're saying
Dunn.
Ray Dunn.
I'm saying Ray Dunn, the guy who's in your seat at 10
bad.
o'clock. I blame all the and by the way, Sean Brace is one of them. Sean Brace, I blame all the Embiid bots that wouldn't turn off the lights that were in this crappy situation that kept because they so believed in that stupid-ass process that they just kept doubling down on this year will be different, this year will be different. No, she won't. That girl who cheats on you, she'll go cheat on you again. You're a stupid dope. And they just kept doubling down. So I don't even blame it. I don't blame Embiid for taking the money. I blame Sean Brace. I blame Andrew Salciunas. I blame Ray Dunn. And I blame all the Embiid bots. That's why we're in this. That's why we're in this position. And by the way, that's why we're going to be in this position for another couple years. All of them are to blame.
I would blame Daryl Morey and the organization before I blame the folks here. But
no, because Daryl's gone now. I can't blame them.
he's
You know
still
what?
the one who gave the contract.
I can blame Larry Moe and Curly though.
But
blame all them.
This is like the Flyers are like your friend who texts you and says, "No, I don't feel like going out tonight. And I'm just going to take a night off. I know it's Friday night, but I don't really feel like going to the bar." They're staying home by choice. The Sixers are like your friend that just gets the wife won't let them out, or they've got to work that night. They want so bad to be at the bar having a good time, hanging out with the boys, but unfortunately they're locked in the house for whatever reason. Like the Sixers are being restricted. The Flyers are choosing. So via fan reaction, I should think that Sixers fans should be more upset seeing the moves around the NBA and saying, damn, we're stopping ourselves from being a part of this. We can't be a part of this. We're not invited to the party, rather than the Flyers who turned down the invitation. So for anyone who's upset about the Flyers not being aggressive, if you're also a Sixers fan, I would say maybe focus a little bit more of your angst with them. Coming up next, we're going to build further on this first half of 2026 conversation. Who's trending to have a better second half of the year than first? We will get into that as Kincade Salciunas continues here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Phillies walk the plank. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports update. The Phillies dropped Game 1 against the Pirates as the team jumped up to a 5-0 lead, but then it fell apart in the 5th inning where the Pirates scored 6 runs and they never looked back to go on to win 11-7. Aaron Nola started the game out strong, but started to falter later on. Interim manager Don Mattingly isn't necessarily sure where Nola went wrong.
Thought he was going to roll. The way he was throwing the ball, it seemed sharp. Good breaking ball down in the zone. Kind of a lot of swing and miss early in the game, and then just got sideways. So I'm not quite sure what happened, kind of after that.
Tonight, Christopher Sanchez will be on the mound against Bubba Chandler, and first pitch is going to be for 6:40. The 76ers did pick up the team options on Don Barlow and Daylon Terry, but they declined the team option on Trendon Watford. NBA free agency is going to be slated to start at 6 p.m. today. There was big news yesterday as the Grizzlies traded Ja Morant to the Blazers. We'll keep you posted on any NBA moves throughout the day. Developmental camp is underway for the Flyers this week, with the scrimmage being on Thursday and a 3-on-3 contest taking place on Friday. Both events are going to be open to the public. I'm Austin Jones, and your home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Intelligent and honest conversation.
start to turn our attention a little bit more towards the future. The beautiful thing about a halfway point is you think about where you've been, but also where you're going. I'm Connor Thomas alongside John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas with the day off. Austin Jones on the board doing an excellent job so far.
I did hear from Andrew yesterday after his they were at the Elks and to watch the he'd seen the clip of the show, and then they were going back last night to the Salciunas house to have a viewing party.
Nice.
With I don't know the code names for Grandpa and everybody. They have a viewing party of The Price is Right yesterday.
Yeah.
So he was just getting the word because Pop-Up Salciunas, Andrew, needed to figure out how do you watch it. And I said, do you have on demand? He goes, yeah.
Then easy enough.
I said,
just
then watch it on demand, right. Pop-Up. Speak into your remote.
He's unbelievable.
And go watch it. So we got it. So
yeah, he's got the week off down the shore. John Kincade has a brand new car.
I do not, though.
Well,
you see, that's one of the questions that people asked yesterday. If you win a car on The Price is Right and you are a Pennsylvania resident, you do not get the car.
Okay, you get the money.
you get
value
the
of
car minus 7% taxes. So Gavin Newsom sticks a gun in your ribs before you leave. He needs more plastic surgery and Botox, and he takes his 7%. And now, after the episode aired, within the next 7 days, they will wire me the money for that car. So it'll end up being around $22,000. I'll get around $22,000 in cash.
Pretty good
Which
chunk
I
of
like.
change right
It's a
there.
good thing. No offense to the fine people at Kia.
Put it all on the Eagles.
Great people at Kia. Well, I will be putting 100 on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl when I'm in Vegas the week after I leave.
Let's bump it up, John.
No.
150.
No, you know what, though? Christina did say? She said she's always wanted me to do the Super Contest where you pick 5 games a week against the spread, and all you have to do, it's $2,500 to enter. And I have a friend who will be the consigliere for it. That'll go do it for me. He'll make my pick every week and make my picks for me. And all you have to do is finish in the top 50% to get your money back.
Yeah. That's
doable.
doable.
She goes, you'll do that. And I said, honey, it's not the top 50. Remember, I'm competing against the top people in the world. I may not be in the top 50%.
You'll probably be there.
That's why she's your wife. She supports you.
Oh, she wants me to do it.
Take
She's
a chance.
less
Why
cheap
not?
than I am. So there you go.
So we're going to see who is going to cash in on a chance in the latter part of 2026. So as we hit the end of June, our conversation where we started the show today was, how do you evaluate the first half of the 2026 year? Have we had a successful year in Philadelphia sports? John Kincade says yes. I say no. But there are interesting arguments on both sides. Like, I get why you say yes, and I'm not heavily negative on.
No, you're not.
where
You
we've
don't. You
gone.
don't seem heavily negative on it. No.
I just think the sum of the parts for Philadelphia sports, if you include all teams, has been more on the negative side than what we could have expected. But the 2 winner teams are carrying a lot of weight for you. So I think it's where you value the teams at is a big part of this too. Now, who's trending to have a better second half of the year than first? This is where we start to think about cashing in on what the winner teams accomplished, or the Eagles making sure that what they're retooling this offseason pays off. I would say that the team in best position going forward in the latter half of 2026 would be the Philadelphia Eagles.
Not even a question, right? There's no question it's the Eagles. The Eagles have a much better chance than the Phillies because their roster is so much more complete.
I'm not sure.
Okay, give me this. Look, the Phillies roster is so full of holes. So full of holes. 2/5 of the rotation sucks.
Yeah.
Terrible. Right there, major problem. The majority of their bullpen stinks. Their batting order is feckless many, many nights. I mean, the Eagles have a complete roster. The Eagles don't have a deficiency. The Eagles have groups that are thin, but the Eagles do position groups that are thinner, let's put it that way, but the Eagles do not have a position group that is deficient.
Well, that's projecting.
Across the whole board, they don't. They haven't for years.
Right. But again, that's projecting. We have not seen the Eagles play a game yet. I imagine there are people out there saying, hey, we've seen over half of a baseball season for the Phillies. We know what this team is good at. We know what their weaknesses are. And now I can build a better projection. For the Eagles, there's a lot of questions. They're changing the offense entirely. Their safety position is thin. Special teams could be a major issue for another year. Might seem like a small part of the equation, but we know how much we've talked about Jake Elliott on this show. He's going to be back.
Missy Elliott will be back.
For the
Our
Eagles,
friend Tyrone Johnson gets credit for that one.
like history would tell you and projection would tell you that they're in the best spot. But I think someone could make the argument that what they've seen for the Phillies would make you more comfortable with how that season plays out. I think that the Eagles have the highest ceiling of any team right now because of the talent that they have on that roster and because of what we've seen that team accomplish in the recent past. But I have not seen the Sean Mannion offense on a football field yet. And until I see that, I have a more concrete feel, at least, of what the Phillies are. For better or for worse, I know. For the Eagles,
Yeah,
I can't say that I do.
But you know the answer's bad.
What do you mean?
You know the answer is full of holes with the Phillies. You know the answer is not full of holes with the Eagles.
I don't know that. I don't know that the answer is
Their
not
roster?
No, not
Their
the roster.
Well,
It's not just the roster. Last year, the roster wasn't the problem. They had talent. The coaching staff failed them.
The coaching staff did fail them. But still, though, they were still one of the better teams in their sport. They were one of the better teams out there. Their roster, though, is so much more complete. They had a buffoon. They had, as I said, a chimpanzee could have done a better job running that offense. But that is on Nick Sirianni for putting his bro in that position and Howie Roseman letting it happen.
What's the difference between the 2025 Phillies and the 25-26 Eagles?
The 2025 Phillies, pedigree.
Okay.
The 2025 Phillies, the 2026 Eagles have pedigree. They have rings. They have championship. They have 2 times been to the championship, winning one, have the ring on their finger. We know they can do it. They consistently, though, consistently show. The Phillies have 2 division titles to show for it.
Right, but in that season, if we're just looking at the season, right, like take pedigree out of it, and the Eagles deserve the credit for their pedigree. I'm not saying that's not part, but I just want to isolate this for a second. Both teams had issues with coaching. Both teams underperformed expectations in the postseason. Both teams won bad divisions going away with rosters that we saw flaws with, or at least play that we saw flaws with. If you want to put those flaws on the coaching staff for the Eagles and more the player for the Phillies, both lost their first opportunity in the postseason. Ultimately, they're in relatively the same spot when you just look at that season in a vacuum.
But you can't look in a vacuum. You can't look at something and just say in a vacuum. There's nobody who would compare the Eagles to the Phillies. The Eagles are
I'm doing it right now.
The Eagles are arguably the best built roster in the NFL. Arguably, you could still say they are across the league. Nobody would say that about the Phillies. Not one team. In fact, the Phillies are woefully deficient for the team with the 4th highest payroll. Embarrassingly deficient.
And they have this, 6th most wins in baseball?
But again, you buy wins in baseball. You buy wins, and I've proven it over and over again. You're going to buy 94 wins with what the Phillies spend. You buy 94 wins.
Okay.
That's what when you spend the Phillies amount of money, you average 94 wins. So if the Phillies don't get to 94 wins, they didn't do what the average person who spent that amount of money gets. And if they fall below it. And if they get above it, they did a little above. That's it. The Phillies are just getting what they're spending. That's all they're doing. They're not doing anything that you go, wow, that's really impressive.
Yeah, I'm just saying the Eagles didn't get out of their roster, and it's not spending because it's a salary cap sport, so it's different, and we know this between baseball and football, but the Eagles didn't get what their talent deserved out of the team last year.
No, they didn't.
Now you're changing things, and Sean Mannion is a much more comfortable guy to have in charge of the offense than Kevin Patullo. But that is the only comparison that we can make right now. We can compare how we feel about what the players and people around the league are telling us about this guy that we have not seen coach a game yet in Philadelphia. So
I think that's fair.
For the Phillies.
But when it compares to the Phillies, though, I just chuckle because the Phillies are shouldn't even be in discussions with the Eagles. As an organization, they built a horrendous roster. They built a horrendous team considering what they spent.
Here's what we know. That team's a playoff team. This Philadelphia Phillies team is a playoff team. And we know that they have the chance, right? They have a chance to win. I don't know how good of a chance it is. They have deficiencies. But there is a world where Sean Mannion's offense doesn't work.
There is a world for that, yes.
And I'm not saying the Eagles are going to miss the playoffs. We all have them as a playoff team. But we could get to this point, the halfway point of the NFL season, be hanging out around like week 8 or 9 and say, this offense isn't going to win you anything. The offensive line is still more banged up than they have to be able to help this team run the football. Saquon isn't what he used to be. Jalen has not fully assimilated into the Sean Mannion style of a passing offense. They're missing A.J. Brown. These young wide receivers that they're trying to bring along have not stepped into their roles enough. The defense is going to be really good, right? And for me, the Eagles' defense is the Phillies' starting rotation. Like, you're going to get what you get out of the top end.
No.
Don't
do that. Because the Eagles' defense is complete. The Phillies' starting rotation is woefully incomplete. The Phillies, if you were comparing it to the Eagles' defense, you'd be saying the Phillies' Phillies starting rotation is the Eagles secondary.
Okay.
And maybe a little bit of linebacker, but they would be deficient at the front. There's nothing in. The Eagles are a complete defense, and by the way, they're young. They have depth.
I wouldn't call them a complete defense. I would say they're going to be a very good one because the talent they have at the spots where they're good is transcending. I don't know who's playing safety for this team. I don't know about the linebacker depth below Zach Bond. Those are big questions. But I'm not saying they're going to be bad, right? So my only point is this. The Philadelphia Eagles offense is still in crapshoot territory to me. The talent is there. The execution is going to have to be. We saw Kevin Patullo make a really talented offensive core of players very unsuccessful last year. I'm not going to pretend like that can't be what happens with Sean Mannion. Not to that level, but failure is an option for the Philadelphia Eagles offense this year. So if somebody has seen the Phillies at this point and says, at least I know what the problem is.
Do you actually look at the Phillies and look at the Eagles and see anything where you go, I look at those two franchises and I see commonality?
Yeah, I do.
I do not. Austin, do you?
No, I don't.
I do not either. Like I'm shocked at that. I'm shocked that you look at those. The Eagles are such they're better the Eagles are better in every way. Every single way. There's nothing the Phillies are better than the Eagles at.
It sounds like you're living in 24.
No, I don't think there's anything the Phillies are better than the Eagles at.
Hitting baseballs.
No,
they got that
could very
one.
well work. They could.
But no, if you look at from ownership all the way down to, you could probably even talk about the custodial workers around the stadiums to the arenas, because I saw what happened at the CBP over the weekend due to the concert. But that's another story. You just look at the way the Eagles homegrown talent, and then how we will go out and get guys outside the organization when feel needed. Whereas the Phillies, I mean, the homegrown talent has been and they've been spending money left and right.
I look at it. I don't look at these two organizations the same. I look at the Eagles as just so head and shoulders above the Phillies in every way.
Yeah, they've had more postseason success for sure, and that carries a huge weight.
No, but even like the roster,
yeah, I mean,
look at them better.
Just look at Howie Roseman and Dave Dombrowski, the way they've been able to handle rosters throughout the course of their tenure here in Philadelphia. I mean, Howie Roseman clears him, and that's, okay, he got the one Super Bowl in 2017, but even then, he literally had to tear it down, and then he built it back up in a way, whereas Dombrowski, okay, he built it up from Clemtac, and it's just plateaued now.
Yeah, but again, it's a different sport, so
but
it's
you're
kind of
saying
hard
you're comparing them though.
But you're
right.
comparing
it though.
Because what we can't do with the way football is a salary cap sport with totally different ways of acquiring players. The draft is a way where you can add players to the roster immediately. In Major League Baseball.
Phillies have a huge advantage then.
Not necessarily.
They do though. They have an owner that has endless pockets. So they outspend 85, 90% of the league. They outspend 90% of their peers. 90% of their peers. That Jeffrey Lurie can't do that. Jeffrey Lurie has to compete on an even playing field. That makes the argument even more in favor of the Eagles.
For the Philadelphia Eagles, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Jalix Hunt, all of these young players. You could go to some guys on the offensive side of the ball, though they are the older side. But even if you look at some of the younger offensive linemen, in the baseball structure of adding young talent, they would not be on the Major League roster yet. That's a major difference.
It's a major difference, but the Phillies haven't had any top prospects until this year, and then the one guy's down in AAA, and you just have Crawford up.
I get it, but the thing is, Howie Roseman has the benefit of being able to add players immediately from the college ranks. That's not how baseball works. It's a longer process to develop young talent.
But the Phillies do one of the worst jobs in their entire sport in the talent acquisition realm compared to every other franchise.
Right, because they've sold out to acquire players at the Major League roster.
No, the ones that they draft, they draft terrible players. They draft terrible players. They draft terrible talent. They don't know how to evaluate talent.
They're in a bad spot now. The past couple of years, they've had minor league players being traded for, like you have an all-MLB closer because you traded Mick Abel.
I got you, but what did you tell me about Mick Abel? The Mick Abel wasn't this player that everybody thought he was.
And yet you moved him for a guy who's one of the best closers in baseball.
I got you, but the thing is the Phillies don't evaluate talent. The Eagles do. The Eagles can look at a talent pool and go, when it's our turn to pick, we pick good talent. When the Phillies evaluate talent, They don't.
Yeah,
The Phillies don't know how to draft.
It's just a different way of building rosters. You can't compare those two fairly. So what I compare is the level of success on the playing field. The Eagles have had better postseason success. I would say those two organizations in the last 4 years have had equal level of regular season
I think
success.
people will smoke you on this. I can't even look at the Phillies and see any comparison to the Eagles. They are the Eagles' ugly cousin. They're the ones that when the ugly cousin shows up at the wedding, they're like, whoa, wait a minute, they're related to this family? I've never even seen this ugly cousin before. That doesn't even make any sense. The Eagles are so much better in every facet. Come on, everybody's got the ugly cousin.
You can project them to be.
Everybody's got the ugly cousin. Austin, come on.
Last year, the season for the Philadelphia Eagles went strikingly similar to how the season went for the Philadelphia Phillies. And this year, they've changed a lot of things.
They have.
So if you're going just talent, we're projecting. But we saw it fail last year. That's all I'm saying. I think the Eagles will be successful. I don't know about the Phillies. My only argument is if somebody's seen 80-some plus games of baseball and 0 games of football and says, I'd rather go with what I know, even though I know the flaws, versus a team that's changing a lot of stuff this offseason, I think there's an argument there. Now, one thing there's not an argument on is that Aaron Nola is pitchable for this baseball team, right?
He's terrible.
We mentioned this at the start. If you missed the game last night, Phillies had a 5-0 lead. Aaron Nola immediately implodes, blows that lead. So he's struggling. We've had a lot of people on the YouTube talking about the Nola issue. I know we have some texts on that. But first, I want you to hear from him, just talking. You can hear it in his voice in this clip. He talked after about the struggle that he's in and not having a stretch like this at any point in his career.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely haven't really had a stretch like this ever in my career. I mean, over my career, I feel like I've been kind of an innings eater since I've been with the Phillies, and it's been tough. I mean, I haven't really, stepped foot in the sixth inning too much this year. It's a little bit different, but got to keep working, and I believe I can get back to that point.
He doesn't sound like he has answers. It sounds like what we heard from Trey Turner back in 23, where it was just like, I don't know, I just got to keep plugging along.
Thing is,
I've
this
never
is
done
3
this
years
before.
of this now.
2, I would say, but either way, it's a long, long time. So the Aaron Nola contract, I'm not even worried about 2030. We need to survive in the moment. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I think there's only one solution for the continuance of Aaron Nola as a member of the Phillies. They cannot trade him. He has right to veto with how long he's been at the major league level. They are not going to cut him. They owe him $100 million plus still. There is no way to move him to the minor leagues without him agreeing to it.
And he'll never do that.
Which he's not going to do.
And much like Joel Embiid, he's not going to walk away from the money. I heard people going, do you think he might retire? No. Much like Joel Embiid, he's going to get every single freaking dollar out of it.
He's entitled to that.
They can.
Yeah,
absolutely. If you can't deliver on what you're asked to earn and you take it, you're entitled to it. You're entitled to it.
Listen, he signed the contract.
No, I understand. You're entitled to it.
Here's what you have to do. Here's the only Aaron Nola solution that makes sense.
You are.
And this is why I'm starting to come around on the idea of acquiring a starting pitcher at the deadline. He's in the Taijuan Walker bullpen role. That is the only thing you can do.
Then who's starting?
You're going to have to find somebody else.
Another one?
Yep. You are, because you cannot pitch this guy, and it's not going to get better next year or the year after or the year after that.
God,
so what you're going
bad.
to do is you're going to bury him in the bullpen, and you're going to hope you get something out of him for an inning or two on random nights. But it's better to cut bait. And
For the next 4 years?
Yep. And the only way you could cut bait, would you rather him be throwing in a starting spot?
No, but it's just
that's your other option, Johnny.
It's incredible.
And that's the only one that seems survivable right now. I'm not saying they do it tomorrow. I'm not saying they do it even this year because they're already trying to fill Painter's spot. But that is going to be the long-term plan. The only thing you can do for
God,
Aaron
it's
Nola.
so bad. That's so bad, Connor. It's terrible.
It's going to be an expensive bullpen arm.
It is.
All right, coming up, we are going to get into report cards for us for the start of the 2026 year.
I didn't agree to this.
You came up with this. Don't lie to the listeners. This
I might have been
actually
drinking.
the thought process behind our original topic, but Johnny wanted us to evaluate ourselves. How have we done?
And I want our listeners, too, to evaluate us.
You get a
to
chance
bring
to
up
tell
things.
us.
Yes.
How much we've been good, or
Yes.
maybe how much we've sucked.
Exactly.
You do it with the teams. I'm sure you'll be happy to do it for us. We'll get into that and break down that conversation coming up here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies walked the plank. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies dropped game one of their series against the Pirates as the team jumped out to a 5-0 lead, but then it fell apart in the fifth inning where the Pirates went on to score 6 runs. And, well, they never looked back, and they went on to win the game 11-7. Aaron Nola started the game out strong, but it started to falter, and interim manager Don Malley isn't necessarily sure where the evening went wrong.
Thought he was going to roll. The way he was throwing the ball, it seemed sharp. Good breaking ball down in the zone. Kind of a lot of swing and miss early in the game, and then just got sideways. So I'm not quite sure what happened, kind of after that.
The Phillies will look to bounce back tonight with Christopher Sanchez on the mound against Bubba Chandler. It will be with first pitch starting at 6:40. The 76ers did pick up the team options on Don Barlow and Daylon Terry. They did decline the team option on Trendon Watford, making him a free agent. The NBA free agency is slated to start at 6 p.m. today. There was big news yesterday around the NBA as the Memphis Grizzlies traded point guard Ja Morant to the Portland Trail Blazers. We'll keep you posted if there's any NBA moves throughout the day. Developmental camp is underway for the Flyers this week, with the scrimmage taking place on Thursday and a 3v3 game taking place on Friday. Both events happen to be open to the public. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Salciunas coming your way now.
7 a.m. hour is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We've been evaluating the start of the 2026 year as we hit the end of June 30th today. So we're about to roll into July. A big weekend here in Philadelphia, if you haven't noticed. Give me the term again, Johnny, for the 250.
Semi-quincentennial.
There it is, folks. The semi-quincentennial.
And by the way, the gigantic heat wave hits at the semi-quincentennial.
I love it.
One note, by the way, as the heat wave hysteria has just taken over the news. You're not a news guy.
Nah.
So you don't watch the news either, do you?
Absolutely not. I just checked the weather.
Okay, well, there's hysteria. It's like 24/7 hysteria of the weather coverage. Just a reminder to you, are you below the age of 60?
Last time I checked, yes.
Yes. If you're below the age of 60, the 7 hottest days in Philadelphia history all came before you were born. So when you hear it, there's a lot of hysteria going on the news about the weather. The 7 hottest days in Philadelphia occurred in 1918, 1966, 1936, 1901, 1966, 1936, and 1930. Just so you know.
Yeah.
We had a thing. Remember that thing called the Dust Bowl? Remember the 30s?
Yeah.
We had
a
thing.
John Steinbeck book about it.
We had a thing when this entire country had something like this happen for like a long period of time, because people are like, these temperatures, we've never seen anything like it. No, we have. Yeah, we have. In fact, we have.
Well, find a body of water.
Exactly.
Or find a watering hole.
Or a watering hole. Now, a pool.
Yeah, pool would be nice.
Pond be good for you. Be good.
I got like back-to-back pool parties this weekend, so I'll be just fine. But I'm excited about the weekend because Philadelphia is going to take center stage.
It's going to be great.
And it's just going to be a great celebration for the country. So that'll be fun. And with us hitting this point of the year, we're at the halfway mark. So we've been asking, has the first half of 2026 been successful for Philadelphia sports, yes or no? We have a Twitter poll up on this, as always, brought to us by Dr. Avidan Appel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. Is the Twitter poll still up, Austin?
Of course it is. Just give me 1 second to pull it back up.
Okay.
Pause.
He has to pull back up the poll.
Pause. But anyway, our Twitter poll today, as we get to the halfway point of the year, we had a successful 2026 so far for Philadelphia sports? Still leading the way at 56% is yes and no at 44%.
Okay, so it's relatively tight, but yes, the more positive side. I'm glad that we're going more positive, even though my answer would be no. I appreciate that we're on the positive side, because so many times in Philadelphia, we can take a neutral topic or even a slightly positive topic and make it negative. So I'm happy that that's where the fan base is at today.
Yeah, I just can't even. I can't imagine. I'm so surprised at your some of the parallels you've drawn today. But hey, it's early. Might change around.
Hey, that's why we have the conversation. You never know where we're going to go on this. Now, we're not immune to this, and we need your help. So you can join us on the text line, on the phone line, 610-632-0975. The Davis Honda text line is open for you. You can feel the Davis difference at Davis Honda in Burlington. And we're asking you not just to evaluate the teams, but now we're opening it up to our takes, because we've had an endless amount of opinion since the start of the 2026 calendar year. Some things we've gotten very right, some things we've gotten very wrong. So we'll start with the self-evaluation. This is like when you sit down with your boss.
You have to tell what you did.
And the first thing they ask you is like, what do you think about your performance? I'm like, oh, aren't you supposed to be telling me? But anyway, if I was to ask you, Johnny, your best and worst take, or where do you want to go with this?
Worst take, if you remember, by far worst take. There was no chance that San Francisco was coming in and beating the Eagles.
Yeah.
There
was a chance.
By far, worst take. Absolutely. That was the worst take. Best take, the dopey decision by Nick Sirianni to not play the last week like it mattered at all, knowing that he had a chance to get the beat-up Green Bay Packers at home, which then would have changed everything, because then you get to play. You are ahead instead of having to play the Bears. So a totally different playoff path, which I think could have changed your playoff history.
It's insane to me that you think that is your best one.
I think that's the best one, because I think it's the one that it just makes most common sense. absolute common sense.
But there's no way of knowing, right? We don't have the data on, we don't have the alternative.
Well, like, I would tell you this. We do know this. Playing the beat-up Green Bay Packers at home in the wild card weekend would have been much better than playing the San Francisco 49ers.
I mean, the 49ers were signing dudes off the street.
They were, but they were a much more dangerous team than Green Bay was at the time.
Wow.
Green Bay was a limpster. They were bad. They needed Dr. Avi Donapel for the whole locker room. He was going to have to give them injections. It was that bad.
There was one that
Green Bay was terrible.
You had an opinion this year that is so far and away better than that one. And I'm not saying that that one's inherently wrong.
Really? That don't trust Andrew Painter?
Nope.
Aaron Nola is an ace. No, that was not this year, and I did that for charity.
It was not that one.
No, that I did say that the Phillies counting on Andrew Painter. It's on my list of the good ones when I do the T-chart.
Yeah.
The Phillies counting on Andrew Painter with nothing to back it up, I think was, and I said, warning, he did nothing to earn his spot in the major leagues, and they awarded him a spot, and I was proven right. They awarded him a spot that he never earned, and he proved them right. He proved me right.
I think that's a stronger one than the Eagles resting their players in the final week of the regular season, but there's even a stronger Phillies one.
What's that?
You were the first person on this show to say they need to move on from Rob Thompson. You were early to that, and I said you're way too early to the party. And
I was after the Dodgers series. I mean, I was that they should have moved on from Rob. But then when the season started, I'm like, you didn't do it. You should have done it.
Yeah, and you were one of the first people in this market that was like, they need to make this change. And all they've done since is go on a heater of all heaters since bringing in Don Mattingly as interim manager and elevating him to that role and moving on from Rob Thompson. We have the data on that one. Moving on from Rob Thompson was 100% the correct move for the Phillies.
The Mets wish they'd done it earlier.
I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Like the Mets have to look at what the Phillies did and say, we had a chance to save our season and we didn't. We stuck with Mendoza, kept sticking with him, thinking it would work out.
Yeah, you called a historic first time in Major League Baseball history, as long as the Phillies win tonight, and they have Sanchez on the mound, so I expect them to. You called a historic turnaround for the Philadelphia Phillies. That's your best one of the year.
I didn't predict that it would happen. I just predicted that they would be better when they got a manager who was awake during games. And as Don Mattingly had to speak to them, players needed a kick in the ass, and they weren't getting it.
Yeah.
Because when the substitute teacher's in, everybody just plays around, and that's what they did. But our audience, though, I want the audience to, because the audience who listens to us, they know that we had bad ones and good ones.
Yes.
So I want them to come up with them, too, on the text line and things like that, too. Because they know we had good ones and bad ones, too.
We also have an in-studio independent auditor that is going to be coming in. Maybe she's not fully independent. Amy Fadul will be joining us at 8 o'clock, as she always does on Tuesdays. She'll be with us for the rest of the show.
Sure.
So we'll throw this to her and see if she remembers any. We say a lot of stuff, and sometimes we forget some of the things we say.
And what about hers, too? I want to hear hers.
Oh, we're going to put her to task,
Yes,
too.
I want to hear hers, too.
Fair enough. We will ask her that, too.
What about you? What do you think's your worst? Because
I know what my worst is.
What's your worst?
My worst is the Otto Kemp conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, that was easily the worst one. Now, I will continue to contend that the problem with him is not his ability to hit. The problem is
it is.
The problem is he can't field a lick, so he can't get at bats, so he builds no rhythm. Either way, whether it's the hitting or the defense, he's not a major league player.
He's not here because he can't field.
Yeah.
That's not the reason he's not here.
No,
the reason he's not here is because he can't hit.
That's why he's not here.
The reason he's not here is because he can't hit.
They traded for Derek Hill. Derek Hill's not a good hitter at the major league level. He's been on a real heater lately, and I hate to take a shot at him.
The Phillies could not trade a guy like Otto Kemp and get the return that they got for Derek Hill.
Right. Because Derek Hill is a really good fielder.
Because Derek Hill can also hit, though. He can still hit at the major league level. Otto Kemp cannot. He's not. He's got holes in his swing.
I mean, bottom line is he can't get at bats because he can't get on the field. He's not a major league player, and I thought he was. And
he's a quad
the organization told you he was, and they were wrong as well.
Well,
that was the worst one. So Otto Kemp, that's on me.
I'll give you a 1A. I'll give you a 1A.
Okay, what's my 1A?
You consistently telling me, he'll be fine. Andrew Painter will be fine. He's a top prospect. He's got the stuff. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
When I gave the warnings, you can't just promote somebody because they were a top pick. That you got to make people earn their opportunities. And you stuck with the baseball mentality of He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Now, they had to promote him.
They
right?
didn't. No, they didn't.
They had to.
He was getting rocked last year by guys like Otto Kemp.
Clearly,
That's who he was getting. That's who he was getting rocked by.
But when we got to the season, they had no other organizational depth.
But they had all off season to fix that. They could have gotten anybody to give him the time to prove in AAA that he deserved to be a major league player. Because last year he didn't prove it.
Yeah,
he didn't prove it.
You're Mr. Call Up the Prospects when they.
No, when they earn it. When they earn it, I am. I absolutely am. Not when I'm not call up the prospects when they haven't earned it.
It was time to figure out what he was, and what we figured out is he was not ready.
But
and
I figured it out at AAA. I knew it at AAA.
Okay, well, I disagree with you
it.
at that point. I think they needed to see him at the major league level. I think at the age he was, it was time to throw him in the deep end. And guess what? He sunk like a rock.
He sunk. Now, by the way, I don't think he's dead in the water.
No, but for this year, you're right. I kept telling you he was fine.
Dead in the water.
He was not fine. Now, the best one, I'm between two.
By the way, your fear of the 49ers, I think, is one of your best ones. You're telling me I was nuts about the 49ers and that 49ers team could come in here and beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
I think that's up there on your best ones because I don't think many people agreed with you.
Yeah, that one lived a little bit before 2026 started, though, because there was a point where Andrew and I both said they're dead.
Right.
And that was prior to that. I would say the best were either in that Celtics series between the Sixers and the Celtics, fighting that they had a chance.
Oh, yes, and you did.
And
one
you did. That I can't believe. Honestly, I owe it to myself, but I'm not going to do this because it's self-serving. And
whoa. No, do it.
The Brandon Marsh year.
No, the Brandon Marsh
year. That's my guy.
No, the Brandon Marsh. No, wait a minute.
2 home runs last night.
Whoa. No, you can't say something for 3 years and then the 4th year it comes true and be like,
that's why
you can't do that one.
That's why I didn't leave with it.
But no. Your faith in him, though, I will award that.
Put that one on my gravestone.
That's a good one.
Knew about Brandon Marsh.
Well,
it only took me like 3 years
eventually.
To be right. Hey, I knew he was going to come around.
There it is. That price is right.
So you
music.
can tell us, 610-632-0975. What do you think we've gotten right? What have we gotten really wrong so far in the 2026 calendar? We are going to get to, coming up next, something that's never wrong. Today's headlines. Today, run by Austin Jones. That comes your way next, and we'll see what the people are saying on the Davis Honda text line. Is Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Back here on Kincade Salciunas, I'm Connor Thomas in for Andrew Salciunas. John Kincade walking into my left. The reason we're walking into the studios, we just got some great food from the folks over at Wawa, dropping off a bunch of stuff. Hoagies. I got the half and half iced tea here. And thank you so much to Wawa for stopping by with that food. Wawa Welcome America returns with 16 days of free events to celebrate the 4th of July in Philadelphia and all that America's birthplace has to offer. Wawa Welcome America includes Wawa Hoagie Day, which is tomorrow, with free admission to the National Constitution Center, salute to service ceremony on July 2nd, recognizing the Wawa Foundation Hero Award finalists and USO volunteers, and the Salute to Independence Parade on July 3rd, with Wawa's very first Toasting America float. So visit July4thphilly.com for more details. Don't miss Hoagie Day tomorrow. We're having Hoagie Day today,
It's Hoagie
Johnny. Day
today, and I want to thank my buddy Joe Amicone and Liz yesterday hosting the viewing party for The Price is Right. And what did they have? Wawa Hoagies.
Have to.
Wawa Hoagies, so it's great. So it's always good to be able to have a little bit of Wawa in your life. And there's so many great Wawas. And I mentioned out there, I said, well, we had the skate park Wawa, and our sales guy knew the skate park Wawa. Like, every Wawa has to have a differentiation depending on where you're from.
They all got their own personality.
There's a little difference.
But
It's
the
great.
best is like the quality exists across all of them.
It's
and
awesome.
The food that they brought us today is quality.
And
I'm going to dig into this hoagie next time.
It's going to be awesome.
We go to break.
I may
here.
not wait. What are they going to
Yeah, you got to go during today's headlines?
What are they going to do? Fire me?
That's a fair point.
seriously,
Well, we'll give ourselves a little bit of a chance
we're gonna
because
do
it
this.
is now time for today's headlines with Austin Jones.
Today's headlines with Austin Jones.
And today's headlines is brought to you by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Alrighty, gentlemen. So I came across on the old Twitter web the other day former NFL wide receiver Josh Gordon. If you remember, he couldn't stay off the weed in the beginning of his career, but then he found some stardom going up to New England and playing with Tom Brady. And we all know Tom Brady is a creature of habit, and honestly, he's pretty insane. So in order to get ready for the season, Tom Brady would invite his wide receivers to come to his house. And Josh Gordon was talking to a gentleman that runs this Los Talks podcast and spoke about a practice session at Tom Brady's house.
He made us live with him, bro. Like, it wasn't so much that he told us his story, but he made us, like, live with him in the off season, like, train right there. His wife making us food and everything like that. Like, it'd be me, Edelman, and Gronk, or just him, and depending on who the off season was. And we would just do the most crazy routine of, like, stand in one spot, and then you just, like, over at least 50 times, you just catching one specific pass, and it's a gun radar that is Alex Guerrero is his coach, is just holding the gun like a speedometer for baseball, whatever. So just clocking if it stays at 62 miles per hour from a football. Meanwhile, your hands just taking a beating like boom, boom, boom. He's obsessive, bro.
Yeah, that's what it takes to be great. If you need to know the level of work that people put in, and Tom Brady's to another level. Like he's
unbelievable.
He's an insane person.
He is insane, and I think it's great.
But I think all great athletes have that level of insanity to them, where it's just like the obsessive nature of getting better at their sport. And hey, credit to him for working that way. Hopefully, Jalen is working that way to get ready for the new offense this year for the Philadelphia Eagles. What else do we have, Austin?
Alrighty, so up next, I know the Phillies lost, but we have to make fun of the Mets when we have the opportunity. They're up in Toronto, and they lost 2-1, and their star player, Juan Soto, misjudges a ball, and then later on in the game, a teammate hits Francisco Alvarez on the on-deck circle with his bat. Here's both of them together.
He's around 91-92 with the fastball. This is hooked to left field, and it's going to get down for a base hit and past Soto to the wall. Springer around second, and now the ball is dropped, and Springer is coming around to score. Get his teammate Francisco Alvarez on the elbow. Look at the bottom of your screen here. Alvarez behind Mauricio, and right there. Ow, wow.
That's the weighted bat, too.
Looks like Alvarez is going to be okay.
Do you remember how terrible he was tracking balls and everything during the NLCS?
Who, Soto?
Against the Phillies?
Yeah.
I mean, he's atrocious out there.
Not a
Absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
But his bat is so great that you...
Yeah, but then the center fielder runs over and then, like, flips the ball further down the wall. I love making fun of the Mets. It's great that the Phillies have had the turnaround that they had, so we can finally start doing it. If they had started the season like they were supposed to, we could have been making fun of like the 12-game losing streak or 13 or whatever the Mets went on, but unfortunately we were also doing the same at that point. But it is good to always check in and realize that team's still a dumpster.
Yeah, and we never feel as bad about ourselves.
No, when I always see something take place with the Mets, like I said, I have a buddy that works for the Devils, and he has Frank the Tank as his season ticket member, so I always text him. I'm like, hey, James, check on Frank the Tank. I want to make sure he's okay for you for this upcoming winter.
So Frank comes over to the Devils games, eh?
Yep, he's a big Devils fan.
By the way, I'm proud of him.
He is a big Devils fan.
I'm proud. No, he's a lot less big, though. I mean,
he's been doing the walks.
He's been doing the walks, and he's been doing it the right way, and he's not just taking a drug, and he's been working out and doing it. Good job for Frank the Tank.
I don't think his blood pressure's dropped any with the way the Mets season is going, though.
He's still a lunatic, but I admire his dedication to the plan. I think he's showing people that you can do things the right way.
Oh, what else we got, Austin?
Last one I got for you today, gentlemen, is if you need something new to watch in the month of July and you're a fan of golf, there is a new comedy TV show that will be coming out. It's called Lonnie the Hawk. It's going to air on July 16th. Will Ferrell is a golf pro that's attempting to come back after a 20-year hiatus to complete the Grand Slam. In order to do so, he might have to beat his own bloodline because his son is coming up in the ranks and is potentially the #1 golfer in the world. Here's a piece of the trailer.
Lonnie Hawkins, you had a chance at completing the Grand Slam a long time ago. What will be going through your mind when you tee off tomorrow?
I want my baby back. I want Chili's baby back ribs. Barbecue sauce.
To him and
repeat the question. Lonnie Hawkins is 3 feet from making his mark on golf history. You've got to be kidding me.
You were a big shot golfer.
I still am a big shot golfer. I just need to get my groove back.
Dad, the guys are saying that I'm the Hawk now.
Golf is easy. I think that you're afraid that our son is going to eclipse the great Lonnie Hawkins.
I wonder, do him and the son have beef?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like
absolutely. I'm sure that's part of it.
Cliched writing is that dad and son have beef. He probably cheated on mom, ran around on mom, so they didn't grow up together or something.
It's interesting because we just had one last year.
I can't wait to watch it.
Owen Wilson put one out, Stick, that was on Apple TV.
Yes.
I found that entertaining.
I didn't mind it. It didn't keep me. Like I will give Will Ferrell a good shot.
It is funny that you say Owen Wilson because Luke Wilson, his brother, will be in this TV show.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Well, okay.
Wilson's taking on.
I think they all just are a jobs program for each other.
Hey, listen.
It seems like
it's good work if you can get it.
Exactly.
I'll check it out though.
I'm definitely checking that.
Do we know
Netflix?
Yes, Netflix, July 16th. 10 episodes.
I'm in.
I'm in. Yeah,
I'm in on that.
I'm absolutely
I like
in on
Will
that.
Ferrell.
That sounds stupid and fun. That's right up my alley.
My only thing, I will be critiquing the golf swing because I don't like when you have actors that can't the best one of all time is Kevin Costner in Tin Cup or in any baseball movie. Like I like the actors who look like athletes. I got to see if Will Ferrell's golf swing actually looks like a guy who's trying to complete.
I believe it is. And spinning off of that real quickly, they even do an ad for Skims. If you know Skims, it's the lingerie activewear that Kim Kardashian came out with.
Okay.
He even does a ad as Lonnie the Walker swinging the golf club in what looks to be a pair of whitey tighties.
But it's pretty good though. He did a good job of the. He did a good job of the swing.
Yeah, I don't need to see Will Ferrell in his underwear.
Will's supposedly a pretty good golfer.
Okay, well, we'll find out when that debuts. Great stuff in today's headlines.
Do you believe this? That is supposedly a 12 handicap.
I imagine so. Probably plays a good amount.
So that's not bad. All the celebrity golf tournaments and everything like that. You don't know whether to believe anything on the internet, though.
We'll see it when the show comes out. Coming up next, we will talk to Amy Fadul, who will join us for the rest of the show. We'll ask her about the 2026 first half as we've reached the end of June. Has it been a successful one for Philadelphia
She had much better
sports?
Post-game shows. She's going to say it's better.
Yeah, listen. Well, the Sixers season, for sure. If you look at the regular season, they made the playoffs. That's a step in the right direction. We're also going to talk about the 4th and 5th spots in the Phillies rotation. What in the world do you do in the short term? It'll be a busy start to the 8 o'clock hour. Don't go anywhere. Kincade Salciunas continues after this.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies walked the plank. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies fell to the Pirates yesterday, even after the team jumped out to a 5-0 lead, but it all fell apart in the fifth inning where the Pirates scored 6 runs and went on to win the game 11-7. Aaron Nola started out strong, but he faltered. Don Mattingly didn't necessarily know where it went wrong.
Thought he was going to roll. The way he was throwing the ball, it seemed sharp. Good breaking ball down in the zone. Kind of a lot of swing and miss early in the game, and then just got sideways. So I'm not quite sure what happened, kind of after that.
Tonight, Christopher Sanchez on the mound against Bubba Chandler, and with first pitch being at 6:40, the 76ers picked up the team options on Dominic Barlow and Daylon Terry, but they declined the option on Trenton Wofford. NBA free agency is going to start at 6 o'clock today. There was a big trade where the Memphis Grizzlies traded Ja Morant to the Portland Trail Blazers. We'll keep you posted if there's any additional moves today. And developmental camp is underway for the Flyers this week, as there will be a scrimmage on Thursday and a 3v3 game on Friday. Both are open to the public, and the USA is back in action Wednesday night at 8 p.m. as they will face Bosnia. This update is brought to you by the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services. If you're caring for an adult with an intellectual disability, autism, or developmental disability, you may be eligible for support. Visit dbhids.com/IDS. I'm Austin Jones in the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Live here, starting the 8 o'clock hour, +1. Amy Fadul in studio
I'm the
with
plus
us.
one.
Yes, you are. Always invited.
I'm a +1.
Be a great +1,
Thanks.
and you always are here on the show, but you need to settle a debate right off the rip for us because Johnny and I are on opposite sides of our number one topic today. So John sent something along about grading ourselves out. We'll get to this later about grading our takes, and we'll give you a chance to grade yourself on how right or how wrong we've been about Philadelphia sports.
Obviously, I give myself an A.
Okay, perfect. Not an A+?
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I got to leave room for improvement.
That's a fair way to go about it. Well, then you can just evaluate us because I'm sure there's stuff that we've said where you're like, you guys might have been off on that one. But we also turned it into an overarching topic for Philadelphia sports. As we get ready to hit the end of June and the start of July, we're at the midway point of the year. So when you look at the first half of the 2026 calendar year, has it been a successful one for Philadelphia sports?
Yeah. I heard you guys talking about this.
I'm so anxious to hear when you're in your car and you're hearing us talk about it.
My first thought was like, really? Successful? I mean, there are moments of success, but I would not call it a successful first half of the season.
See, I agree with you.
Yeah, it was tough because I heard John's arguments and I thought, yeah, that's true. Like there's definitely some more uptick in parts, but the overarching feeling was not a one of success for me. And that doesn't mean there wasn't pockets of success. I think we've talked about this before, and I still firmly believe it. I think there's a lot of momentum going in for the Flyers. I think that's a huge win for them. It's wild to think about. They had the same result as the Sixers in their second round. They both got swept, but it felt wildly different, right?
Crazy.
It was a completely different feeling. You came out of the Flyers getting swept by the Hurricanes and thought, well, hey, listen, that was pretty good. Like, no, it wasn't ideal, but they played hard, and there's some momentum going forward, and they showed that they could hang with some of the best teams. You came out of that Sixers-Knicks series and thought, no, we're not even close, as echoed by the president of basketball operations later on in the summer. So, to me, like, that wasn't enough of a turn. And then you look at the way the Eagles season ended. That was a disappointment. Maybe not a surprise, but a disappointment nonetheless. So I can't say there's a lot of success. The other pockets of success, though, would be that there's some good momentum going forward. The way that the Phillies, the way they had that stat, the only team ever to be 10 games under 500 and then be 10 games over 500 by the end of June. That's a wild stat. So there's reason for that. But overall, if you had to ask me, is it a successful 6 months? No.
That's where I land. And part of it is because of where the bar has been set for a couple of teams. Like for the Eagles, the goal is always in this window Super Bowl. When you have a first-round exit.
There.
And then base level the offseason. We had some people on the YouTube chat commenting about the defensive additions, Jonathan Grenard and Reek Woolen, and what they've done there, and what they believe Sean Mannion is going to turn this offense into, and saying, hey, that in and of itself is a success. But, and I know we don't
it's like addition by subtraction, just with no Kevin Patullo, I think.
And with A.J. Brown.
And isn't that sort of the key?
And like let's go back to last year. I mean, we were all talking about this. There wasn't the general excitement, or at least some hope, about Kevin Patullo's offense. We were all trying to like pick up on what they were selling, and we just really could never buy in, because it was just like, well, it seemed like you just picked up a guy because you had to.
Because he was your bro.
Right? And he was, he didn't have enough time, and we couldn't vet everybody. We didn't have whatever the reasons were. There was never the overarching of like, yeah, this is going to be a good offense. It was like, I hope it's just at least something like Kellen Moore put out. That was kind of our hope. And so I think that there is some note of success as far as you recognize that was a terrible offense. It was a terrible idea, and you've gone completely opposite. So I think that there is, I don't know if you call that success or just the recognition, but that's a positive for sure.
When you put it in perspective, though, if I was just to say to you, and maybe I'm using and one of the people here on Twitter is saying, John, even though he leans more towards what you two just said, but he understands where I'm coming from, because he says, John, I think what you're doing is you're using more of a recency bias. He said, because if you place it as 2026 more successful than 25, 24, 23, 22, he said, even with the Eagles Super Bowls and everything, I agree with you. Because the two winter teams gave us more than we've had in a long time.
No, that's true.
He said, but you're using a recency bias maybe more than you're using was it successful?
Like an overall feeling of success.
An overall feeling of success.
Yeah, no, in comparison, sure. Like 2024, 2025 for the Sixers and Flyers, terrible.
Right, just wasn't.
Right.
They had it wasn't the same.
But if you ask me, does the Super Bowl outweigh, like if you gave me Super Bowl, but two teams don't make the playoffs, or two teams win a first-round playoff series and the Eagles lose their first playoff game, I'd say that the Super Bowl win makes it overall.
See, I look at it as silos.
A more successful.
Yeah.
I can't look
in a vacuum more.
I'm not watching Sixers season, Flyers season, going, yeah, but the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of people that do that.
I know, but I can't. Of course, I'm not going to be as I'm still going to have that Super Bowl glow. But I'm not watching the Flyers going, well, they missed the playoffs, but the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
I'm pretty sure in the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl and the Sixers completely imploded because everybody got injured, there was a lot of thought. It was just like, well, this is what happens. This is what we did. This is who you paid the piper for.
I'd make that trade. So that's where I'm.
I don't want to make it again. I'm making that once. I'm not going to make it again. I can't live through that again. That was
all
tough.
teams can be successful. Like that is
It
possible.
is possible.
Yeah, maybe not here, but
No, it can happen.
the other team,
The early '80s, it did all the time.
and we're going to ask you a tough question on the Phillies too, but we haven't really gotten into that part of the conversation because that's interesting on whether or not they've been successful. They started off the season in the dumpster,
the bagster,
right?
The dumpster,
in a bag.
There we go. Thank you, Amy.
I likened it to a golf
you may have
round.
to pick that up when I leave.
There's a chance I'm just going to go buy one just so I can say it all the time.
You may have
voice
to
of
pick
the
it up when I leave.
Cool, I could see it.
You might have to pick it up.
But I likened it to a golf round where if you're a scratch golfer and you shoot 72, but your first 3 holes were like 10, 8, 8, and then you just have
You're
a
good at
miracle
scrambling.
run.
Listen, that scrambling is a score.
But is that a good round? Like, it's a tough perspective because the Phillies started terribly, and where they've gone to turn around, great. But what it took was moving on from a manager to wake up a clubhouse that there have been numerous reports that they weren't talking enough, they weren't into it enough, they were asleep at the wheel. Not just the manager, the team.
Well, he was asleep, like literally.
But there were players that, there have been reports out there that they just weren't, quote unquote, locked in, right? They're just not, they weren't there. They weren't active participants, which you kind of, I don't know, I want to say, I'm not going to ever understand because I think that in their mind, they were probably doing everything they thought that they should be doing, but it clearly didn't show on the field. So when you just start going through the motions, I've been here before. Let's just try to get to October. It's almost like that overall, like, this is all well and good. We're going to try to, do the best we can, but really we're focused on October, which is fine, but you have to set yourself up for October, and you can't start 9-19. Just going through the motions, which I think is kind of what was happening a little bit.
I'm just so glad that they made the call when they did. And
imagine if they were like
clamoring
the Mets.
for it. I was clamoring for it, and I think the Mets regret, and I saw some of the analysts saying they now look at what the Phillies did and say, yeah, the Phillies did the right thing.
I think that was a real surprise when you looked around and thought they waited as long as they did.
It was stupid.
With their payroll.
That guy even managed the team this year.
Right.
We were talking about Rob Thompson after a division-winning season where he had not missed the playoffs yet and lost to the eventual back-to-back World Series champions in a series where they played him tight in those
you thought
games.
about him not coming back, period.
Yeah, saying, hey, he made too many mistakes. Carlos Mendoza and that Mets team choked, missed the playoffs. The Reds made it in over them. They say, you know what?
Let's run this back.
Not only that, we're going to collapse in the first part of the season, and he's going to make it till late June before we
he almost
fire
made
him.
it to the All-Star break, which is wild.
I don't know what in the world's going on
Well, we
there.
thank you, Mets.
Yeah, appreciate
LOL,
it.
Mets.
Yeah, see, there you go.
LOL.
So, Johnny, you hear Amy lean more negative. No, I don't want to say negative.
No, it's not negative. It's just like it's overall. Like I see what you're saying as far as comparison. Yes, the winter sports were much more successful in comparison. But if I just say in the vacuum of 2026, has it been a successful 6 months? It's hard for me to say that, no.
So what's your response to that? What's your argument to get us on your side? Because you made it to
Bring
me
us
earlier.
along.
Well, I would just say to you is that the Eagles I think invade so much of our psyche that it's become, people can't look at it as, we're looking at it as Philadelphia sports fans. We now have a Flyers team that is pointed in the right direction, that already showed you, got some playoff experience, won a series nobody thought. A year they didn't even think they would make the playoffs, went to the playoffs, beat their hated Penguins, upset them by beating them the first 2 games in Pittsburgh, and did that. The Sixers beating the Celtics. It doesn't get much better than that, especially for fans of my generation.
But why the Eagles seed out higher to me?
Because the Eagles, I do believe it is an aberration. I do believe that last year what we saw was the fact that they were coming off the Super Bowl, and for some reason, Howie Roseman allowed Nick Sirianni to hire his bro.
Yeah.
And so I believe that was a mistake. I can't believe they made that mistake, but I believe it's a mistake that they will not make again.
Sure. Now, the Eagles are a team, though, that when we went into last season, we're talking about Super Bowl contention. They weren't talking about it because they were pretending like they didn't just win one, but that's another conversation. They knew what stratosphere they were in the NFL hierarchy. We knew where they were at. The expectation for them was postseason success at the highest level. The Flyers have told you, even after this past season, that they're not there yet. They've told you that verbatim, and they've told you that with the way that they've handled things. They're not in their championship contention window yet. The Sixers might tell you that they're in their championship contention
Mike
window.
Gansey said, "We are not close."
Yeah.
That is a quote.
The previous regime.
Not a lot of
Well, that's why that regime is no longer here. But I loved that, by the way. Like, I thought that was very honest. You cannot, BS this fan base, and you can't say like, "Oh yeah, no, we're right there." No, we're not.
No, you're not.
That was my favorite thing he said in his introductory presser.
It was great.
But when you see two teams have postseason success in the early rounds that are not in that championship contention window versus a team that definitively is falling short, that's always going to weigh more to me. That's why the Eagles carry more weight with whether or not they're successful.
Because there was realistic expectations of being in the Super Bowl, and they came to lose in the first round. It's just in the epic way. It never felt like they were going to win that game, and that, to me, that was really like defeating.
And Andrew and Connor tried to tell me that that there was a real good chance they weren't going to win that game, and I could not convince myself of it. I absolutely believe that
because you just thought they're going to
they'll win that game.
Yeah.
I thought that game.
Yeah, at least win this game.
Right, they're winning that one.
Get it together enough for this game.
But when the coach tells you that the game before didn't matter and doesn't play to win, I think there were so many errors that were made last year.
Yeah,
terrible.
So you can chime in on the Davis Honda text line, and you can feel the Davis difference at Davis Honda in Burlington, 610-632-0975. We love voice memos. We love phone calls. So any way you want to jump into the show, we appreciate that. What's your evaluation of 2026? We've got a split room here. And Amy Fadul, even though she was tasked with settling the argument.
No, she went with you.
I know. But I think we've extended the conversation further, too. She's on the right side of it. But I don't think you're giving in anytime soon.
We're going to see if our listeners, I don't think, agree with you guys, which surprised me because I thought the listeners would agree with Connor's side and your side. But they haven't so far on that Davis Honda team.
Yeah, the Twitter poll has gone yes so far.
It's a good year so far.
We'll see. The Phillies could make it a lot better if they figure some stuff out.
If they just get some pitching.
Well, back into the pitching.
Ricky Bose said yesterday, he does not, he told Bill getting a fifth starter is the last thing on his mind. I'm like, well, what about a fourth starter?
Well, that's the thing.
What about a fourth one?
Fifth starter has to be the last thing on your mind because there are other pressing needs. And I think that they feel like they could piecemeal it. I mean, the Tim Meza, Rahel thing worked.
He is going to start, by the way, Thursday.
That's good. Wow. He should.
Rahel?
He's going to start Thursday at 100-something degree temperature.
God bless.
Middle of the day.
Oh, the Thursday day game. That's right. I forgot.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Aaron Nola thing is a real conundrum because you can't move him. And if his name was not Aaron Nola with that contract, you would have already either jettisoned him or sent him down.
Sure.
But that contract and the name attached to it they're preventing you. The thing is, unlike Taijuan Walker or Andrew Painter, he has found it at times. And so that's why it's so confounding. Like this past start, he couldn't get out of the fifth inning, and you're just watching it implode. You're thinking, my gosh, man, just get out of the inning. Just get out of the inning. And he couldn't. But the time before, the start before, fine. He looked like he found his rhythm, quality start, didn't blow up that one blow-up inning, didn't give up multiple home runs, and you're thinking, okay, but for every one of those, you've got four of the other.
Yeah.
For every one good or decent outing, because that's where we're at right now, you've got four that are just 5 earned runs. His ERA is over 6 now, just over 6.
We have a great case study on this from just the past couple of years. You brought up Taijuan Walker. Now, Taijuan Walker in 2024 had a strong season. And it was really impressive because he was doing it while being a swingman. He'd start some games. He'd go to the bullpen as a long man in some games. The numbers look solid on him. So coming into the 2025 season, you were looking at it and saying, okay, maybe this is a guy that you could go get something out of. And unfortunately, we saw that he is who we thought he was. We had a big enough sample size. And at some point, you just have to believe this guy's not going to get it done. I think we're there with Aaron Nola. You talk about the flashes, Amy, but we haven't seen – the flashes for him are quality start, maybe.
Right, that's it.
That's
it's
not
just
enough.
Like, I hope so. Hope he gets it done. Hope he can get through the 5th. This is a guy you're relying upon to be a stalwart. And going into last year, he had always had been, right? He had a guy that you could rely on 30-plus starts without question. did not have any injury history. Sure would give up the home run, the solo home run here and there, but his ERA had never ballooned to over 5.5, or last year was at 6. This year it's at 6. He had not been that guy. And so the fact that you're just trying to like hang on with your fingernails for one good start out of every 5, that's not good enough. Not with, and let's be honest, not ideal. You should be able to win a game you score 7 runs in.
Yes.
No question.
That should be like
you get a 5-0 lead.
But even if you tie the game at 5-5 and then you take the lead, or it's 8-7, you can't have. That's why if you look at what everybody thinks that they need, that you have to have a better reliever. You just have to have some better relievers. Those guys, Sugar, bye-bye.
Yeah.
You cannot be here anymore.
I never understood the Chase Sugar thing this year.
You can't be here anymore. Seth Johnson is struggling. He has his moments, but they're very, very fleeting. And the thing is, Kerkering's been one of your better guys.
Yeah, he should be the 8th inning guy until Keller comes back.
He's been fine.
I'll tell you what the Phillies really need. Brad Keller, it better have been the injury that caused you to look the way that you did recently, because if he comes back and he looks...
You can't hinging on Brad Keller.
That's what you got.
And that's another reason you go back to maybe like, how did the 6 months go? Before the Phillies season started, you didn't feel great as far as the success goes of an off season. They didn't address the things you wanted them to address, whether it was the manager or whatever else. But really what you wanted them to address was power in the outfield, a right-handed bat, and some relieving help. None of those things were really addressed. I'm sorry, Brad Keller withstand, notwithstanding.
And I thought Keller was going to be a home run.
And he might be.
And I would have signed it.
He may still be.
Right.
He may still be. But really, when you're looking at it, it's so even though Aaron Nola gave it up and it was tied, I thought, okay, well, this offense should be able to. We've seen them. They've been on a bit of a tear. Good times. Great. You should be able. Pirates don't have great relievers. And they showed that. So the Sixers. The Phillies came all the way back, 8-7. And then you knew it as soon as he was in. I was like, this is going to be a home run. Oh, there it is. I thought it was a 2-run home run. I thought the home run was going to come before. And then I was like, nope, it's
just add
now
another
it's even
one
better.
on there.
It's even better because that guy's on. I mean, when you're walking guys and giving up these like bleeders, it's just
can't
nothing's
put
ever
guys
going
on out
to.
of
Now,
that.
did he keep him in? Did my boy Magic? Did he keep him in the game too long last night?
Well, who else was he going to go with?
Yeah, you don't really have.
I just go back to that
depth.
quote Charlie Manuel had years ago when the Phillies bullpen was atrocious, and someone was asking him, he's like, you've seen who's out there. Who else do you want me to pitch? And I was like, that is about as honest answer as you could ever get. That's what all of us are saying. But I mean, you have to. Baseball is so wonky that you have to like think about. You can't just think about today. You have to think about tomorrow, and you have to think about the next day, and how you have to line up your relievers. And you can't keep burning these guys. So I mean, yeah, I probably should have taken him out when he got the third guy on or the second guy on, but he probably was like, if we could just get this out, like the rest of us at home.
There are still issues with the team. Now, you know what's funny? You said you have to look at this day.
I think they're still going to win the
next
series
day.
against the Pirates.
Correct.
I believe so as well.
Well,
or at least
let's hope.
split it, 4-game series.
No,
with
I
them,
don't want to
so.
split. I want to win it.
We'll see what happens with Sanchez. Wheeler
away.
Skeens is going to be really interesting on Wednesday. That one is going to be a toss-up, and it will be great baseball, too. But something else you have to look at. We're going to get into this in the 9 o'clock hour, so a little forward tease here. There are some numbers that might tell you that even what we know now about the Phillies might not be true by the time we get to the deadline. Because what they've done over the month of June, I don't think people have realized how good they've been in a certain aspect. But coming up next, Johnny has an interesting topic on the all-Philadelphia team members. We had a conversation about Kyle Schwarber being an all-time Philadelphian. And we also want to extend that with the 250th birthday of the nation coming up. John, I'll let you set that topic up next about guys that are on that list and some that are not. We'll get into that as Kincade Salciunas continues here. Amy Fadul along with us on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies walked the plank. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies dropped Game 1 against the Pirates last night, as even though the team dropped out to a 5-0 lead, but it fell apart in the 5th inning where the Pirates scored 6 runs, and they never looked back. They went on to win 11-7. Aaron Nola started the game out strong, but started to falter. Interim manager Don Manley isn't necessarily sure where the game went wrong.
Thought he was going to roll. The way he was throwing the ball, it seemed sharp. Good breaking ball down in the zone. Kind of a lot of swing and miss early in the game, and then just got sideways. So I'm not quite sure what happened, kind of after that.
Tonight, Christopher Sanchez will try to help the Phillies get back in the win column as he's going to be on the mound against Bubba Chandler, with first pitch being at 6:40. The 76ers picked up the team options on Don Barlow and Daylon Terry. They did decline the team option on Trendon Watford, making him a free agent. NBA free agency is slated to start today at 6 p.m. There was big news yesterday as the Grizzlies traded Ja Morant to the Portland Trail Blazers. We'll keep you posted throughout the day if there are any other moves. Developmental camp is under the way for the Philadelphia Flyers this week, with a scrimmage taking place on Thursday and a 3v3 game taking place on Friday. Both events will be open to the public. The USA is going to be back in action Wednesday night at 8 p.m. as they're going to take on Bosnia. I'm Austin Jones on the home with the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
You tell it like it is, and so do we.
to in the break.
This one, we need to put this out to the people.
We are going.
I missed it.
Before this segment is over, we will ask this question because I am shocked.
No.
And just the determination of John Kincade and Amy Fadul of telling me.
No, we're right on this one.
Okay, we'll see what the people say. It's a golf question that we will get to coming up a little bit later. But, Johnny, I want to give you a chance to set this up. And also, we're still taking your text, phone calls, and voice memos on the question. Has the first half of the 2026 year been a successful one for Philadelphia sports? John is saying yes. Amy and I, we're not saying like heavily no, but we're saying the gut feel is no.
Success is a very, very loaded word, right?
Exactly.
It means it doesn't mean it hasn't been a good year, good first half of the year. It has been. Solid. Yeah. But as far as I feel great.
Is meeting expectations successful?
See, then you're taking it further. You're doing the Salciunas thing.
But success
you're taking
means,
it further. Now I feel great. I never said that.
Yeah, but success means I would feel great.
No.
If I was successful at something, I would feel really good about it.
You can be successful. If I'm wildly successful, I feel great.
Oh.
If I'm successful, you check a box.
Oh, so this is like a mid thing?
So
successful just means
like you said, I mean, is that there's success. There's, by the way,
success is a C. Do I feel good about a C?
There is success as far as there is societal.
Well, it depends on the course.
There is societal success, as my wife will tell me. There is societal success, and there is John's success. And she will say to me, get out of your head and get to where you should be proud, be happy with this, be proud of this, do this. Stop keeping it to where you set the bar here.
Yeah, I guess I have a high bar.
And so you do. And you do. I think you do. Yeah. Knowing you, I think you do.
Yeah, I do.
So I think that's real.
I do as well.
That's probably why then.
So there you go.
And you bring in your inherent bias, your inherent, the way you feel. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I get it now. I get it now. All right.
That was a great explanation.
Yeah, that sure was.
All right, try and turn that.
I haven't changed my mind, but I feel it more now.
There you go.
Build that explanation for this now. The all Philadelphia team, as you brought up in your email to me last night, Johnny. What do you have here on this?
Well, I mean, is it right now? If you look at it there, I think of as we come to America 250, and I laugh because none of you guys were alive for the bicentennial. And I remember going to the bicentennial parade. I remember going to the bicentennial parades. I remember how big it was in Broomall. I remember how big it was in the city of Philadelphia. The bicentennial was huge. And I'm just thinking about America 250 and how big a deal this is this week and how big a deal this is for this city. And I'm so proud, by the way the city is just putting its best foot forward with this whole World Cup thing and everything.
Awesome.
It's been awesome. And we're shining.
And not to interrupt, but I love that Philadelphia we're talking about the Philadelphia celebration. They don't go all over and be like, check us out. It's like, no.
It's
Philadelphia, we're our own country,
Here.
okay?
Yeah, we're our own. Believe me, the barriers. But the idea to me of what the all-time Philadelphians when we talk about sports. The all-time, now we adopt people. Like Amy, you've been adopted. You might as well have been born in Kensington. Not Kensington.
I'm a
Let's
Northeast
just say
person.
something else.
Strawberry Mansion.
Strawberry Mansion.
All right,
there you go. There are no strawberries and there are very few mansions. But it's the idea is that you are so ingrained here.
It's one of my favorite things when people ask where I went to high school.
And by the way, people believe.
So disappointed when I have to tell the Midlothian.
How about that? I got asked after you golfed at our club. I got asked 4 times. Well, where did
they
Amy
want
go
me
to high school?
and I just they're so close to sometimes just fibbing and being like, oh yeah, Delco.
But people believe you did.
Which is great. Well, it's so easy to become, just you want to become part of this place. It's Philadelphia. It's such a great place.
You have, though. That's the key. Is you have because you've been ingratiated. You've been you've been adopted, and you've assimilated. What athletes do you think have done that? Now, because there's one that I do not think has, that I know Connor thinks has.
I'm probably gonna be on Team Connor with this one because I think I know who it is.
And I do think
the first and easiest answer is Jason Kelsey.
Oh,
People
yeah.
think that man is from Delco.
Yep, might as well be.
Right?
Jason Kelsey to me.
He lives in Delco. They just assume he is Delco.
Jason Kelsey to me is the perfect personification of a Philly athlete, of somebody who just personifies the Philly athlete. Mm-hmm. I think the closest thing that the Phillies have to that is Kyle Schwarber.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber.
Like an everyman.
Kyle Schwarber could walk in
every man could
any section of
home runs.
any section of Philly Kyle Schwarber could fit in.
Funny enough, 2 Ohio guys, by the way.
Oddly enough, that Midwestern just makes you like,
Yeah,
just
there's something.
blendable.
Like they could fit in here.
Yep, both would be invited to the cookout.
They would both be. Now
agreed.
the question is that who are the other? Like Howie Roseman is now considered. Is he royalty? But is he Philly?
I don't look at how. Maybe it's because he's an executive, and I know he lives here. He's obviously ingrained himself in here. His kids go to school here. They play all their sports here. I live in an area where I see him out with his kids playing different youth sports. Maybe it's because he's an executive. I don't look in like.
Okay, can you think of an executive that you do?
Well, I mean, obviously some of the ownership. I do think of John Middleton as a Philly guy.
For sure.
I do too. I think of Jeff Lurie.
Yeah.
As a Philly guy now.
Yeah.
I don't
can
really.
see that.
But you don't.
I don't know. It's hard to see an owner as like.
I mean, I feel like that he could be just because, not Howie Roseman, at least that they're down, they're on the sidelines, they're kind of in the mix. They're talking with the people. They're just at a different level because it's the Eagles, maybe, and that's why it's like they're kind of like on a pedestal, but a Philly pedestal.
Yeah,
who's
Philly is so.
Who's the Sixer?
Jameer Nelson by default.
Tyrese.
Yeah, right. On the current team, it's Tyrese. It's
Tyrese just.
The weird thing is
He's
Tyrese
just so likable.
Inherently isn't Philadelphia. Like
no,
those are the people that
the thing is, do they have the traits that make them Philadelphians? Because,
somewhat yes, somewhat no.
Because this is where we will argue.
Like currently on the Sixers, I don't know. I think Angie might be close because he's also from Ohio.
Yeah,
he's
right.
going to be our guy.
I'm not sure that any of them.
I think VJ could develop into it.
Yeah.
I do too.
Because I think that Tyrese and VJ are going to come to mind because of their work ethic, right? I think the one thing that you identify as Philadelphia is that work ethic of I care a lot about my craft, whatever your craft is, your career, your job, your family, whatever it is that you're passionate about. Something about Philadelphia is that they have a lot of passion. That's what makes this fan base in this area great. We always say we love to hate our teams. It's because we always inherently love them, right? You can't badmouth our guys. We can badmouth our guys because we love them at their base. And I feel like when you look at Tyrese and VJ, if you're going to go with current Sixers, they just want the best. They want the best of themselves. They want the best of their team. They want the best of all their teammates. They want the best for their teammates. They want the best for their city. So I think that's where I would lean towards them because inherently they care so much about their craft and about what they're doing that's going to lean them towards being identifiable as a Philly persona.
And now we get to the one I.
Yeah, bring up your boy, your favorite athlete.
Bryce Harper doesn't, to me, embody almost anything about Philadelphia.
Really?
No.
I find that
he puts on the.
How about Nick Sirianni?
That's the number one Philadelphia guy in
Nick
the city.
Sirianni, much more, though.
He panders.
But he's much more relatable as a Philadelphian. If you drop Nick Sirianni in the middle of Westchester, in the middle of Roxborough, he looks the part, he acts the part, he relates the part. I know this from people who go to the same place where the Siriannis go down the shore to stay. And every year when we go down to stay, they say, Mr. Kincade, you cannot believe how Nick Sirianni conducts himself. Like he is just you would never know he's the coach of the Eagles.
He's a bro.
He treats himself, but he acts just like he's a normal guy to everybody. And he's so kind and he's so sweet. And he plays football has a football game with the kids on the beach of the kids who are staying at the hotel.
See, but you're talking
That's not
personality, and for the coach, all you know is the personality because he's not playing the game.
Bryce is
the way Bryce Harper plays the game of baseball is very Philadelphian.
Was Chase Utley Philly for you?
Yes.
Chase Utley,
but no, Chase
literally did opposite of everything you said.
But Chase.
The only thing about Chase Utley is that he
played the game
hard.
the right way.
Well, he played hard, and that's why he was identifiable here.
He played hard, and he played it the right way too. Fundamentally,
Does Bryce Harper play it the wrong way?
Chase Utley would never. I guarantee you this, and I swear I want the interview so bad. I guarantee you Chase Utley would roll his frickin' eyes at a baseball player in the modern era saying, I played the game the same way I did when I was 7 years old. I guarantee you that Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins both would say, roll their eyes at that comment. I played the game the same way I did as I was 7. I only know one way to play it. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I disagree with that.
You have to run the bases smart. Jimmy has talked about it on the volunteer week. Why I say volunteer weekends? the alumni weekends when he comes home and they do
told to be there.
When Tom McCarthy deserves triple pay. Trying to do a game when they're bringing in people
constantly
the whole game, and the doorbell rings. The doorbell rings, and then Nikki Foles barks every time they do it. And they talk about, and Jimmy Rollins talks about having to be constantly disciplined to learn things right from Charlie Manuel, and how him not playing the game the right way mattered. And that Charlie would call him on that. Bryce ignores that. Bryce rolls his eyes at that.
Well, Jimmy didn't run it out sometimes. There's certainly
and Bryce doesn't too. Constantly.
So
I wouldn't say constantly.
I wouldn't say it's not a problem.
Dude, it has happened at least. It's happened at least 3 or 4 times this year already.
That's not constantly.
I mean,
either he doesn't run it out or he runs too much.
Who else are we talking about on the Phillies that don't run it out? That don't run out ground balls?
Alec Bohm.
Yeah, I was just going to
say. He hits a lot of double play balls.
And he just trots down there. I'm like, hey, friend, hustle up.
But that's one of those guys. It's funny. There's a lot of middle ground, but you can tell the guys who fit and you can tell the guys who don't. And I don't want me to take a ricochet shot at Alec Bohm, but he's one of those guys that the personality is just not fit with the city.
But also you have to try.
Yeah.
Right? There has to be some attempt. And I know people are going to call it pandering. They think Nick Sirianni panders. Whatever. I'm actually fine with pandering. I could care less.
I am too.
What I don't like is when you go Ben Simmons. Which, amazing, we haven't talked about some of those comments yet. But you can't. But Ben Simmons loved his time here. He still talks glowingly about Philadelphia, which is wild to me. But he just never seemed to really want to fit in, right? He didn't take the extra step.
That's because he brings security guards to candy stores. He walks around the mall. He walked around the King of Prussia Mall with 2 security guards.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Shaquille O'Neal,
strange cat,
a far more famous person by tenfold, walk around Walmart.
He's his own security guard.
Walk around Walmart.
Yeah, but the point is, you see these guys out.
Protect himself. Come on.
You see them
take
out.
The swing.
And you just see them. Brandon Graham is a guy that's a Philly guy.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Mailata.
Perfect. Jordan Mailata. Perfect.
He's from halfway around the world. Like, that's the thing. Certain people, the personalities fit or the play style fits. I think we overvalue it sometimes.
Agreed.
Because good players are good players.
I'll take a good player.
But
I'll take a good player, even if he's from Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyrese Maxey. Even if he's from Australia.
Maxey.
Jordan Mailata. Wherever you come from, you can play ball. You can exist in this city.
Just play hard.
Yeah, right?
Yes, play hard for us.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard to be liked here, okay? Play hard. Try to embrace the fans.
Show us you care.
Call it a day. Like, it's just not that hard.
Easy for some, very difficult for others.
Truly.
That is the truth.
It's remarkable to me how difficult some athletes make it.
We'll get into this golf argument coming up.
This
but also,
is amazing.
The moment you've all been waiting for.
Yes,
the frequently
this is also
asked
amazing.
questions from John Kincaid's appearance on The Price is Right yesterday. Johnny's going to answer
car?
the FAQs.
I already know.
You didn't see the parking lot?
I did.
Anything you need to know.
It's got a big bow on it with the big Price is Right tag. That'd be great if it did.
I did look for it today.
That would be so great. Even though I know it's not there, if I just was like looking like, oh, you had the big Price is Right tag on it.
Should have just read it
Darn
for today.
I should have just gotten one.
If you have questions like that, we'll answer them for you coming up next. And more on the text line on our big conversation today. It's Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. I know you guys have been waiting for this all day. Yesterday, if you were watching The Price is Right, you saw a familiar face taking home a brand new car.
Woo! Woo!
And everybody had a billion questions about where the car is.
It's always my favorite thing, though. It's like, and now you're playing for a brand new car.
You saw my eyes because I was waiting.
Yeah,
and I knew
you start doing the calculations because you know there's at least one, if not two.
There's one car in
every episode.
In the first 3 games, the first 3 and the second 3 of the show. One of the 3 games, someone's getting a car.
Yeah, you're always doing the calculations.
So the bastard kid that was wearing
that's not very nice. He has parents.
Well, the kid who wore pajama pants, you saw him. The tall young man.
The guy that won the first.
That won the first game, who went $1 over me.
Yeah.
That he got screwed because he went $1 over me, and he got picked for the first game, so he overdoes me by 1. He goes up in his pajama pants to go up on stage, and he gets that crappy game of bargain price. So I would have been playing for the home gym and a billiards table.
And that game, no bargain prices.
It's like it's just a dull game.
It's just
and it was a quick game. It's a dull game. You don't really get any personality out of it. So then I knew, okay, if I can get on the stage in one of the next 2 games, one of these 2 games is getting a car.
Yeah, you were the one.
And the way that it was dragging out, I'm going, okay, I think I'm getting the car.
So what are the questions that you got yesterday from people on social media?
The number one is, where's the car?
Where is the car?
Do you have the car? Did you get the car? The state of Pennsylvania, and I had some of these people on Twitter last night going, that's not right. You're wrong about that. No, I'm not.
The best is, I'm like, you're the one that won. They're like, that's not right.
You are a Pennsylvania resident. You're on The Price is Right.
You have to be a border state, right?
You can't, there's somewhere. Pennsylvania and California do not have something where there's no reciprocity. If you're a Pennsylvania resident and you win a car and The Price is Right, you do not win the car. What you do is you pay Gavin Newsom his 7%. You do not have to pay taxes here. So you pay the 7%. I don't think that's terrible. You pay 7%, and then they will wire me the money now in the next 7 days. They have 7 business days to wire me the remaining money that I won. So I will get a wire transfer that has not hit yet, and I have checked Bank of America multiple times.
I'm sure
to
it'll
see
be
if
there.
it hit. Drew Carey, I want my money. I want my money, and so I'll get my money for the car. So you don't win a car.
Yeah.
Now, if you were in other states around here, you could win a car and The Price is Right. You would go to a car dealer in your area, like a Kia dealer,
right?
And they would have it arranged, and they would say he gets a Kia XL. Soul
whatever
XL.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, they give you one of the hoagie punch cards. It's good for one.
But not
free car.
Pennsylvania.
Just pop on in
So
there.
that was one of them. My knives are on the way.
Okay.
That I wanted to get on. Now those are must be some badass knives because I bid $650, and they were $900.
It's important to say this is the suggested retail price.
But they were unbelievable. Now from what I've been told,
who pays retail?
I made that joke saying those must be some good knives because I bid $650, and I knew I was sitting there with the best bid. And I was just holding my breath that the lady next to me wasn't going to go $1 over. Or $1 over, $651, because there was only one person to bid after me. But she messed up. She bid $601. I think she messed up.
She probably didn't know what you bid. That's why you always have to ask, what's the highest bid?
But she was not aware.
If you're going to go dollar, she did not ask. She just assumed it was $600.
People don't realize how loud it is.
That's why you see the people always ask, what's the highest bid?
People do not realize,
Drew will tell you.
People do not realize, too. You do not hear your name called. So yesterday was the first time I heard "Come on down." You do not hear your name called when you're in the studio. It is so loud that you watch someone hold up your name on a piece of like a cardboard.
Yeah, poster board type
poster
of thing,
board.
yeah.
So someone is standing there, Diego I think was his name, and he had a big poster board there, and at the beginning of the show when they're saying, "All right, let's go." You hear it start. Everybody's making so much noise. You don't hear the music. You don't hear anything. He drops the first cardboard, which is white, and drops it down. And you saw the woman's name, the nurse. She gets named. So everybody's just staring at Diego. And then when the next name dropped, there it was, John Kincade. I saw my name. And everybody says, why'd you run down so fast? Why didn't you do
Because
like
you saw it.
Because I saw my name.
Listen, we got to get there.
Yeah, I didn't want to do one of the
crazy, like,
I'm going to dance on the floor. No, I didn't want to be a goober.
My biggest question is, and I need you to find out because I think you probably can text Drew. Bob had a very distinct microphone. Very distinct.
Drew has a different one.
Why?
He tells us that. He told us that in the pre-show.
Because that's what I need to know. I need to know these things.
There's a gap of like 10 minutes between each of the games.
Bob Barker's microphone is the size of a pen.
Right.
It long, but like the top was like the size of a pen.
He has a absolutely different mic. They have all different mics. They have different mics that are, there's mics between each of the people because they tell you on Contestants Row. They can catch you. The mic on Contestants Row adjusts automatically to your height.
Oh,
that's
very
pretty fancy.
Which is wild.
Instead of like moving it down.
So
we
when
gotta
you
get some
walk
of those
up,
around here.
when you walk up, it automatically adjusts to your height.
Okay.
Then there's also mics at your like where your elbows would be or where your hands would be at the if you kept them down the side.
Well, there's mics in the studio or in the audience because you always hear people. Yeah,
but they warn you to be on Contestants Row to watch what you're talking
in between.
Because they can catch everything on the mics.
Interesting.
Microphones are always hot.
So they can say to you, be careful with
That's
that.
not going to be. We would all be fine.
So they do that. Rachel Reynolds, who was a big hit, the model that worked my game, and I talked up Rachel during the thing. As the guys pointed out on Middays with Marks yesterday, married to David DeLucci, former Philly, and she was an athlete at LSU.
Oh, okay.
And so a big fan of Shaquille. So she is a big fan of Shaq and a very sweet lady. And so it was a great experience. If anybody wants to go to The Price is Right and has ever wanted to do that, there's only 180 people in the audience. 9 people get picked. You got a 5% chance of making it on stage.
Better than zero.
I'll gladly send me an email. I'll try to coach you up on it. My friends, the Aldersons, are going in July. They're all going as a family here from Philly. They're going. I'm going to coach them up on a Zoom call. They're all
Eddie, give them the cheat sheet.
Eddie and his family are going.
Oh, nice.
So
That's
they're
awesome.
all going, and I'm going to coach them up on here's what you do. Someone will, if you go in a group, by the way, you go in a group of like 5 or 6 people, one of you is most likely going to get picked.
Ooh, like that.
Now that though can create a little animosity as to who gets picked.
As long as you share the prize.
So you
all get a new car.
I'm not sharing the car.
No.
So why does he have a different microphone?
Because Drew gets a different microphone because Drew did not like.
He didn't like the tiny mic from Bob Barker?
He did not like the tiny mic, and Drew likes the more substantial
windscreen
feel to it.
All right.
And the more substantial feel to it.
It's a classic mic.
Drew does stand up between the acts, between the games. He does some stand-up comedy.
He is a funny guy.
He talks to the
He is a
crowd.
funny guy.
They give out prizes to people in the crowd. They give you prizes. They do trivia. They do things.
So it's like interactive.
George Gray was an actor that I didn't know. He was in a bunch of movies. Like George Gray, people knew him from movies that I didn't realize, like
know that.
80s movies and 90s movies. So I didn't realize that. So like people were talking about it. One woman had a headshot from one of the movies he was in. And so they do a lot of fun stuff. And if you want to go do it. It's a lot of fun. And Drew Carey couldn't be a more wonderful person, though. And Rachel Reynolds is awesome.
Yeah,
so.
we're glad you had an amazing time,
It was
Johnny.
great. And me keeping that secret since last August 8th.
That's the thing. You can't tell people.
You can't. You have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. And if anything gets out about your prizes or otherwise, you lose them. And CBS is not required to pay you.
Yeah, and you don't want to lose that.
No, didn't want to lose it.
Well, there it is. The day in the life of John Kincade.
There you go.
Price is Right.
You got all your questions.
There's your questions for you. Coming up next, we are going to get back into our main topic of the day on the 2026 first half of the year. Has it been a success? We are going to rank the teams as far as level of success so far in this calendar year. Could you make the case that the Philadelphia Eagles have been the least successful?
Oh.
I might, coming up next. Don't go anywhere. It's Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies walked the plank. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies dropped one against the Pirates last night. Even though the team jumped out to a 5-0 lead, it all fell apart in the 5th inning where the Pirates scored 6 runs, and then they never looked back for an 11-7 win. Aaron Nola started the game out strong, but then he went on the falter. Nola spoke after the game.
A lot of runs tonight. I didn't really do well with the lead I got, what the guys gave me. They hit really well tonight, and 21 swing misses. Honestly, tonight it doesn't really matter. Give up too many hits, too many runs. Need to do better at that.
It's going to be up to Christopher Sanchez to try to get the Phillies back on the ship against Bubba Chandler, with first pitch being at 6:40. The 76ers picked up the team options on Dominic Barlow, Daylon Terry, but they did decline the team option on Trendon Watford. NBA free agency is going to start later today at 6 p.m. There was big news yesterday as Ja Morant is headed to Portland in a trade with the Grizzlies and the Trailblazers. We'll keep you posted if there's any other NBA moves throughout the day. Developmental camp is under the way for the Flyers, with the scrimmage taking place on Thursday and a 3v3 game taking place on Friday. Both events are going to be open to the public, and the USA is going to be back in action Wednesday night at 8 p.m. when they're going to take on Bosnia. This update is brought to you by Pico. When it's hot out, it's more energy to stay cool inside. Pico offers tools to help you manage your energy all season long. Get started at pico.com/summer and hashtag 8203. That's pico.com/summer and hashtag 8203. I'm Austin Jones on the Fanatic.
Half of the year in Philadelphia sports. Gut feel, Johnny.
Yes, absolutely. Did you expect to win a first-round series against Boston?
I did not.
Did you expect to win a first-round series for the Flyers going into the year?
No.
I feel like it's been a really, really good start right now. I'm feeling good about it.
My answer to that question, gut feel, would be no. And I don't think the Eagles have done anything in this calendar year that I can look at and say definitively successful. I think they've put themselves in position to be successful in the second half of the year.
Which is fair.
But I don't think any of the stuff that we know concretely right now, we could say, yes, that is a success for the Eagles. Their season ended with a disappointing playoff loss.
The Flyers and the Sixers stories were amazing.
They were. But do they outweigh the Phillies starting 9-19, getting a manager fired?
No, because it's June 30th. I want you to look at the Phillies in the entirety. They are going to be the top wild card in the National League, host a playoff series, and then go into it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the Phillies have had a successful 2026, though. I would not say that. I would say that this offseason, you saw them do minimal stuff to change this roster where other teams had some opportunities.
And I'm not happy with what they've done, so I get you.
I saw them start slow and play very lethargic for a team that is way too talented to start the season the way they did.
They started slow, but it's June 30th. You got to look at where they're at.
And where they're at is where they should be.
The idea to me is that this was a winter of so much more for Philly sports fans, where I think 2026 has given you more.
My gut feel is no.
Ricky Bo was like, the last thing he's worried about is a fifth starter. Hey, Ricky, I respect Ricky's opinion on pitching more than anybody's and his baseball opinion of anybody at this station. But, Ricky, you got to worry about a fourth starter. I don't know how the hell you're not worried about a fifth starter, because this is unsustainable.
Now back to the show.
A little bit of Phillies, but most of what we've gotten into is evaluating the first half of the 2026 year. It's crazy that we're here already. This is flying right along, and summer's gotten busy with all the World Cup and the semi-quincentennial celebration.
Very good, Connor.
Yeah, you said it earlier, so I had to file that one away. But how has it been for the sports team? Has it been successful? That's the question that we've been asking. And we're on opposite sides of that. Amy and I saying more no, and John saying yes. And I think
you guys are very, you've made very compelling points, though, that make me understand where you're coming from.
You have as well. It depends on what your bar
that's
for
very
success
kind of you to
is.
say. I appreciate that.
Success is not a actual literal definition of something when you talk about 4 different teams over a period of 6 months. You can talk about individual seasons, and even then, every single fan may have a different bar for what success is to them, which is why it's such an intriguing conversation. Now, Amy, I want to see if we're on the same page for the basis of this next conversation about ranking the teams over the past 6 months. We all said, myself, John, Austin, we all agreed earlier in the show, Flyers hold the top spot for level of success in the 2026 calendar year so far.
It's great because our bar was so low that we were just like, which is fine.
That is fine.
Yeah,
fine.
Got to be fair,
Got to
right?
start somewhere.
So would you agree with that of the 4 teams, the Flyers have had the most success in 2026?
Because, again, I think we're comparing it to 2024. That's where I think that's where I define success, right? And I think that, John, you had the gentleman that was talking about that earlier. That's where your success is coming from.
He was saying he was agreeing more with you guys, slightly more with you guys, but he was saying, John, I think you're dealing more with a recency bias.
Yeah, I'm trying not to live in the vacuum, but I have to compare it to the previous year. So that's what makes it successful. So, yeah, I'll go with 2026 was a success because of where they had to come from.
So the least successful team. This is going to be interesting because I could make a case that it's the Philadelphia Eagles.
You could make a case it's the Eagles.
Yeah, I'd say it's
if
Eagles.
You're going with the comparison.
Yeah, I think
2025.
I think you would say Eagles. No, I
coming off a Super Bowl and you don't even get out of the first round.
And what they have to work with and what they accomplished, I think you'd say Eagles.
And I think that that's part of it. And that's probably why you're going to go with the Phillies, too, is that there is so much talent. There's so much expectations. And in the Eagles' case, they've been there before with a lot of the same talent. And you thought, certainly you could get past the first round. And then,
the Sixers exceeded expectations this year.
So by default,
the Flyers exceeded expectations. The Phillies did not. The Eagles did not. But the Eagles was the most disappointing.
The Flyers exceeded it because they weren't set up. Like, it was a surprise. They're still building, right? The Sixers exceeded it because your expectations are they're just not going to get there. Talent-wise, they have the pieces. You saw that, right? You saw the glimpses of when you have the big 3, whatever you want to call them, or big 4 rolling with VJ, Tyrese, Joel Embiid, and Paul George, you should be able to win any series you're in. Those are 4 tremendous players. 2 are, some of the best at their position. 1 is a former MVP. So you're thinking, why do I have a different bar? Because our expectations for the Sixers are not great because you're never going to get the full health of those guys, which is disappointing, obviously.
It's so funny, but by default, with the way we just ran through that argument, it sounds like the Sixers would be the second highest level of success in 2026. And that sounds flat out insane considering what the landscape is.
I don't think I can go there.
But we just made the argument about the Eagles and the Phillies and where the expectation is versus where they ended up.
But the same argument that I would have, that's why I have trouble, for the Eagles not being as successful as we expect them to, or the Phillies, just because they have all that talent on their roster. We've seen them do it before, and then they just didn't come to fruition. The Sixers, you could apply a lot of those same things for. They have all that talent on their roster. You could see what they can do. They haven't shown it to you. And so maybe that's why. Like, it's just, they shouldn't get a pass or anything for that, but you've never seen, the Eagles you've seen, right? They've won a Super Bowl. The Phillies you've seen, they've gone to the World Series. They had a chance in that World Series. The Sixers haven't gone past the second round. This is well documented. You don't need me to say all this. But you're looking at that roster.
Quarter of a century, not that we're counting.
Yeah. Well, the Knicks were over a quarter of a century, and they somehow did it. And I think that's also compounding it for me as to why I can't say that. Because the Knicks were able to do it. They hadn't been in the finals since 99. And somehow they turned it all around.
The Sixers, though, you may look at as having, and I'm interested in what the fan base would say, maybe the most successful personnel move of any. There were a lot of folks that thought that Daryl Morey being out of a job would help change the way this organization can go through fixing where they're at right now. There may be a portion of that Sixers fan base that says, hey, success for me in 2026 is the fact that they cut bait on the president of basketball operations, brought in fresh eyes to look at this thing with Mike Yancey and now Bob Myers taking more of a role. That may be enough to say the Sixers have been somewhat successful in 2026 to fans.
Yeah. I mean, I think you do feel the positive momentum going forward. Like the Flyers you had, I think you felt like a lot of that, all right, well, this didn't go well, but there's some good moves going forward. You saw the draft picks. You saw that they were making moves. I think that we go back to kind of some of the stuff we're talking about, like what makes a Philadelphia fan base happy, what makes you identifiable. Being proactive, right? Not resting on your laurels, not just expecting the cream to rise to the top, because that's not always the case, as we saw with the Phillies. You can't just trot people out there because they make $600 million as a roster and think, all right, we're fine. That's not true, right? We know that. They started 9-19. So for the Sixers, recognizing and maybe not belaboring, like, all right, we have to make a move. We're trying to capitalize on some of the positive momentum, but also recognizing some of the real dearth we're dealing with. I mean, there was a real low point of getting smoked, absolutely smoked by the Knicks. They were
non-competitive.
They were in one game, and it's because you rolled your point guard into the ground. He played all but a minute and a half of that game. And I just think that they recognize, okay, this isn't working. We're not doing this.
Yeah, they took over your building. It's crazy to look at certain parts of the year and say, hey, they might be more successful than some other teams in this town.
But overall, I think that your point about, like, they recognize that, I think that is a success of an off season of, like, we're not rolling through a draft. You're not rolling through an off season of free agency, dealing with some of the same stuff. We need a completely different take, voice, and strategy.
So what do we have on this? We've hit a bunch of different branches of this conversation. What are the people saying on the Davis Honda text line, Austin?
Alrighty, so this is from Jay in Westchester. He said, I never really agree with John, and today I do. Connor is off today. By the end of the Phillies season, you will see that all four of your sports teams have made the playoffs. Although two of the three underperformed in their respective sports, we are yet to see what the Phillies accomplished. This poll should be a minimum 90% yes and 10% no.
Oh, wow. Okay, so upset with the poll of the day. We'll get that in the next segment, the updated numbers. 90% yes, 10% no.
I really do think
that's a little
90%. I think it should be more like 80-20, though. I really do. I think it should be more like 80-20.
I mean, the number one team in this town collapsed to a team that's defense was built off the street.
I understand, but
you got two sweeps in the postseason for your winner teams. I know they exceeded expectations.
They both exceeded expectations, so that has to be the lead. That has to be the lead. When you over deliver, but then you fall flat in your face because you over delivered, the over delivery still has to be the lead headline. You can't lead with they fell flat in their face. Wait a minute. They were never supposed to be there.
Yeah, but the Sixers only over-delivered because of the position they put themselves in.
They should have been there. You have a roster that's paid that. You have three max guys. You should absolutely be above a play-in game.
Yeah, Boston played half their season.
I'm talking about the second round. They weren't supposed to be by Boston. They had one of the highest percentages. Boston had one of the high. Boston was favored to win the East.
Right, based on what they did in the regular season without one of their star players.
But at the beginning of the season, Boston was picked
going into that series
like second to last. I think Boston was picked like 8 or 9 to start the season.
When
did they over deliver?
When game one tipped off, Boston had the best odds to win the Eastern Conference.
Oh, I know.
So the Sixers over-delivered in incredible fashion.
Yeah, I guess you have to look at the result because they over-delivered because of the way that the season played out. But on paper, it doesn't feel like an over-delivery,
I got
right?
you. And you're doing 82 post-game shows.
No, so you're in there, but but to me,
you
like,
really feel it.
There's a lot of things that, and people look, and they think I'm an apologist, and you can say that.
You are not, though.
Fine. But the 25 games that Paul George missed, 21 of those, I'm sorry, I think it was 19 missed by Joel Embiid, 9 missed by Tyrese Maxey. He was either 19 or 20 for Joel. He missed almost all the same that PG did, and you're looking at, 9 games missed by Tyrese Maxey. Of the 25 games, 13 and 12, including some really tough road games that they won. That to me is like, that's a remarkable thing. Like when I look at like, all right, there's pockets of success. That's a pocket of success in a really like tough season for the Sixers. You got 21 games total between those guys. You missed large chunks of them for important stretches, and you still won those games. You found ways to win. And I think that's what I carried over into why they were able to beat the Celtics, because they at least had that, good or bad, they had the experience of being able to like play when guys are off or not playing well or not in the game.
So coming up in just about 3-4 minutes here, I have a Believe It or Not number on the Philadelphia Phillies.
Now, you're too young to have watched that show.
No, but like we do a segment of our Believe It or Not in Barrett's Huddle, and Barrett sings it every time, so therefore I start singing it.
What is that, the Greatest American Hero?
The thing is, though,
I didn't watch the show.
Barrett's almost too young, though, to have ever seen it.
What year was that show in?
I was in high school.
Yeah,
or
so,
I
what,
was
1930?
Maybe
what?
grade school. Yes. Like, that was William Cott, if I'm not mistaken. William Cott. I think it's a
definitely before my
70s show.
time.
I think it's a 70s show.
Is it?
Greatest American Hero.
Greatest American Hero.
Look at what happened to me.
We have some numbers on the Phillies.
I can't believe it myself.
This is in the 80s.
What was it?
1981 to 1983.
Okay, so I was in high school.
Yeah, I mean, Barrett's in his 50s.
Yeah, he was probably a grade school kid then when it was on.
Believe it.
It was a dumb show.
Sings it every time, Barrett
but it was
does.
funny. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world.
And we do that segment like all the time. At least once a month.
The numbers might change the way that you look at the trade deadline, because what the Phillies have done this past month, I don't know if people have taken full notice of. But we're going to argue about something besides the evaluation of the 2026 season for a second. Just a quick break in, because we've teased it a couple of times. We're going to take you behind the scenes to a break here. We were talking, and this past weekend, I was down the shore in North Wildwood, and I played this little like executive 9-hole golf course. There's par 3s and par 4s. Now, it's not a chip and putt where it's like there's 60-yard
What is
holes.
the par?
The par is 30. The yardage is about 3,300.
It's not a golf course then. That does not count as a golf course.
So there are par 4s. The longest hole on this course is 350 yards.
Come on,
That's
dude.
the longest hole?
First of all, it's not that's not a legitimate golf course because it's a 30.
The par 3s are not like 100 yards. They're like 140, 150.
Doesn't matter.
Typical par 3 length. And I asked John and Amy, if I made a hole-in-one on one of those par 3s, would it count?
No, that is not a legitimate golf course to get it's not a golf course you can count a hole in one on because it's not a golf course.
What makes
36? By the way, you need a 35 or a 36. So I went to the rules of golf. 35 par or a 36 par. You need a par 70, course.
That's some kind of
minimum.
rules. My feeling is the reason hole-in-ones are so impressive is because you're out there grinding away. You got the whole course. You got 6,000 yards to play, right? You've got par 4s, par 5s, par 3s. You got 80, then you got 500. You're all over the place. You're grinding it out. And then you're at like number 16, and it's a 105-yard par 3. And you're so excited, but you're exhausted. And you just get up there with your wedge or your 9, whatever you're feeling that day, depending on the wind, and you take that shot and it goes in. You've grinded it out. That's a hole-in-one.
How is, if I'm playing like Westwood, for example,
if you
over
play
in West
putt-putt
Deptford,
and you get it in, I will give you a hole-in-one. But you don't get a plaque for that, friend. You don't get the little fun plaque with the tee, your name on it. You don't. Hey, did you go in the clubhouse and buy everybody drinks? No.
There's a hole that's like 100 yards on Westwood. That's a par 3. Every single par 3 that I played on
Have
this
you ever
course
gotten a hole-in-one there?
No, I've not.
Well, then that would count.
Oh, okay, but why does that count more
I just
legitimately?
told you why.
It's a longer hole.
I told you why.
Connor,
told
right
you
here,
why.
the rules of golf for legitimately.
I'm counting that.
You
I
have
think
to have
you guys
a par.
are sticklers.
Did you get a hole-in-one?
No, I did not.
A
But I'm saying I would.
No, a par 70
I didn't.
70 course is minimum requirement to count a hole-in-one.
What if you play 9 holes?
No. But by the way,
then your hole-in-one doesn't count on the front 9?
A par 70 course. So if you did
if you
play
played 9 holes on a par 70 course.
On a par 70 course minimum.
Yeah, it's not necessarily we asked what par was.
Be
we didn't ask like how many holes. We asked what par was. And even if you played it twice and it became par 60 for 18, no. That's no.
You can't.
No.
No, you cannot do it.
So people chime in.
Remember?
Anybody, let us know. You can
610-632-0975.
Davis Honda text line. You can chime in on YouTube.
Look at Amy just trying it out there. It's great. Look at one of our most.
I didn't know there's actually legitimate rules, but I was just like the feeling was immediate.
Par 70, par 70
I'm
course.
counting that.
Listen, if you get a hole-in-one on that course, I'll make you own little plaque. It'll be made of cardboard, but it'll be a plaque nonetheless.
By the way,
I'll write it in Sharpie.
You say Westwood.
Yeah.
And my brother, who honestly should be on the remedial golf tour. I love you, Doc. He has a hole-in-one at Westwood. I think on 11. And he has a hole-in-one at TPC Tampa. He has 2 holes in 1, which just goes to show you.
It's all about luck, everyone.
Yes, you could absolutely train a jackal to play golf, and you could get a hole-in-one. Doc has 2 holes in 1. And it absolutely drives me nuts.
Timothy Marsh on the YouTube says, Connor, it would count. Don't listen to those knuckleheads. It does not
count.
Thank you, Timothy. I appreciate you. We will see what the people say.
It does not count.
Already got one text on it.
Okay, what do we got?
What do we have?
All righty, this is Ryan from Florida. He said, no hole-in-one counts on any par 3 course. What the heck is this conversation?
There are par 4s, too. It's not just par 3s.
It's an executive course. Executive courses do not count.
30.
An executive course does not count towards counting it towards a hole-in-one. They're executive courses. Executive courses are there for a reason.
It's even harder.
It's a practice course. That's what they are.
If you hit the pin on the practice range, do you think that's a hole-in-one?
No.
I'm just wondering. I don't know. I don't know.
I gotta know what it means.
I don't
I'm not
know.
going to win this one. I need the people's help. Now, here's numbers that do count.
Okay.
This is legitimate. Not like that hole-in-one conversation.
You know what, though? People will go nuts about that for the next hour.
I'm sure they will. So I'll ask you guys a base-level question. Are we buying the Phillies offense right now? What they've been doing lately? Are we buying that this is who they are? Because they went through some bad stretches of the season.
I think this is who they are. I think what they were in the beginning was not.
Yeah.
I think they're playing now.
They're going to have a few dips or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
But I feel like this is much more consistent we've seen. John and I were talking earlier. I think that they're going to win this series, the Pirates. I don't know if you asked me something in early May, if I felt like, I don't know. Yeah. You never know. They might not beat the Rockies. I think this is their offense.
So we sit here
legit.
On the last day of June. We sit here and we have the numbers from the month. Now, they have one more game to play, so we'll see, but it won't affect them that much. Do you know where they rank in the month of June in runs per game in Major League Baseball?
8th.
Johnny, any guess?
4th.
They are 2nd, trailing only the Milwaukee Brewers.
Wow.
They have scored 5.58 runs per game over the month of June. They're better than the Dodgers.
Do you believe the Brewers or do you not believe it?
Still don't believe the Brewers.
I never really believe the Brewers.
Nah,
you guys are just nuts.
Tell me when they win something.
Yeah.
Tell me when they
they're
win
like the
something.
Cleveland Cavaliers for me.
Yep.
Yay.
Great example.
Boom.
But that's something where if you had asked them a month ago, what do the Phillies need most? They need right-handed power. They need another bat. The lineup is not good enough. In the month of June, you've just seen them be the second-best team in baseball at scoring runs. Now, you can talk about competition level, all of that. There's more factors. My point is this. We have over a month till the trade deadline. What you think about this team and what they need now could very much look different by the time we get to August 3rd. Stuff shifts quickly. And for teams that aren't sellers, they could be in a month because stuff shifts quickly.
It does.
So when we have these trade deadline conversations, they need to be 10,000-foot view because we don't know.
That's hard, though. I want to
Yeah, we want to zone in. But with over 4 weeks till the actual date, just a reminder is when you say they need a starter, they need a bullpen arm, they need a bat, let's let it play out. Things will change.
Yeah.
So just a little lesson in how long the baseball season
temper
is.
Us.
I'm trying to.
Trying to temper us.
It's a tough job.
I think it's a way to do it. Yeah, it's a way to be.
All right. Last night was a prime example of what I talked about yesterday. Amy, I said something that had John dumbfounded on the Phillies in the NL East. I want to see if you agree with my thought process. And I think we got a point in favor of the argument that I was making last night. We also have a little bit of a World Cup bracket update. Big time upset.
Yes.
Yesterday. Should it make you feel better about Team USA? A lot of stuff coming your way as we continue the 9 o'clock hour here on Kincade and Salciunas.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies walked the plank. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The Phillies dropped Game 1 against the Pirates as the team jumped out to a 5-0 lead, but it all fell apart in the 5th inning where the Pirates scored 6 runs and they never looked back to go on for an 11-7 win. Aaron Nola started the game out strong, but he later started to falter. Here's Aaron Nola after the game.
A lot of runs tonight. I didn't really do well with the lead I got, what the guys gave me. They hit really well tonight, and 21 swing and misses. Honestly, tonight it doesn't really matter. Give up too many hits, too many runs. Need to do better at that.
Tonight, Christopher Sanchez will be on the mound against Bubba Chandler with first pitch being at 6:40. Yesterday, the 76ers picked up the team options on Dominic Barlow and Daylon Terry. They did decline the team option on Trendon Watford, making him a free agent. NBA free agency is slated to start later today at 6 p.m. Yesterday, Ja Morant was traded from the Memphis Grizzlies to the Portland Trail Blazers. We'll keep you posted on any NBA moves throughout the day. Developmental camp is underway for the Flyers this week with a scrimmage starting on Thursday, and then they'll have their 3-on-3 game on Friday. Both events are open to the public. The USA is back in action Wednesday night at 8 p.m. as they're going to take on Bosnia. I'm Austin Jones in the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Go to Bagster.com.
We might just remove that drop from the system because
It's a
every time
dumpster
Amy
in a
Fadul's in, she wants to do it
She
herself.
says it well. Well, look, it'll be up for grabs. Be up for grabs end of the month
It's
next
a
month.
dumpster in a bag. Hey, don't say
Amy
the end
be
of the
good with
month.
it. Amy be good with it.
It's not July yet.
Yeah.
No, I said the end of next month is what I
okay.
said. Yeah, I know.
Gotcha.
But I was looking at that. It's funny. It hit me this morning. It hit me this morning driving in. I'm like, I only got a month with you guys.
Yeah.
I only got a month left with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
You got plenty of time to start telling us we're right. It's taking you long enough.
I will believe me that. Don't expect.
He's going to go down. No, he's not going to change his stripes. Now he should
No, why
not.
would I do
and
that?
he should not.
Why would I do that?
I don't think any of us expect you to, Johnny.
No, I don't
That's why
think
we
so.
love you.
It is.
So something that I may be correct on in the long run is something that we brought up yesterday. So, Amy, we'll bring you into the conversation that we had on the Philadelphia Phillies. Amy Fadul joining us. Andrew Salciunas the week off, so I'm Connor Thomas sitting in for him. And yesterday we talked about the division. At the time, the Phils 3 games back. The Braves didn't play last night. The Phils lose, so they're now 3.5 back in the NL East. But that's marginal considering where the division has been at points this year.
Double digits.
Yeah, it's
Was
incredible.
it 11 and a half was the worst, I think. Maybe it was 12.
Might have been, but it was in that range. So we're happy to be where we're at, bottom line. And I believe this is going to be a tooth and nail divisional fight down the stretch. We just talked about the Phillies' second highest runs per game in the month of June. We know the top end of the rotation is something that can carry you to a certain extent. They'll win ball games. But if they're in this dogfight for the division down the stretch, I do not want them to go all in to win the NL East.
Because you don't matter. Division doesn't matter.
That's part of it, yes.
Right.
Like playoff history would tell you division does not matter. But the other part of it, too, is, and Atlanta's somewhat of a case study in this. Now, I don't know if it's directly correlated. The amount of injuries they've had versus the way they've handled regular seasons, a bunch of guys playing 162 games and not getting time off. I don't know if that's why they've had the injury issues, if it's just that and bad luck. But teams that are playing well and healthy going into October, to me, is infinitely more important than where you're seated out, as long as you make it in. So I don't need to see them ride Christopher Sanchez and Zach Wheeler in August and September. I don't need to see them throw a Ryan Kerkering and Juwan Duran like 4 times a week down the stretch.
To try to get there that one.
Yeah, to try and catch the Braves.
I mean, yeah, because you have to build towards, we're looking for October.
Exactly. Like if they don't win the NL East, but they're the top wild card seed, I am not crying a single tear over the division.
I think it's how it's going to look, too, right? I mean, I think there is probably a part of my brain that would be like if you're like a half game or 1 game, like, it's the Braves. So just go ahead and take them down. I don't like the Braves. I'm tired of them. I just feel like they're always there. They just never go away, ever.
Last year was nice when they weren't.
But even when then they're right back.
Yep.
They never go away. They never hit bottom. They never are down there. It's annoying. I don't like it. It's like the Patriots. Like, of course you're back in the Super Bowl. Like, I need you to be worse for longer than that. I need you to be bad for a decade. We've been bad for a decade. Longer sometimes.
You're really, though, I'm taking offense a little bit that you're hoping then that I would have terrible sports talk.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Or you'll have great sports talk.
That's truth. That's truth.
Crashing and burning. Gets people talking.
I mean, we really enjoy it.
But
if it's close, but if it's like this, if it's 3.5 games, I don't think you burn your team out just trying to get that division. I think you look at it. All right, need to start setting ourselves up. But if it's like a game or half a game, I probably do go for it. Even if it's, I don't know. I think that's something you have to really walk that line because the most important thing is going for the playoffs and having success in the playoffs and winning a series, winning the wild card, winning the NLDS, winning the NLCS. These are like things that you have to tick off, and you have to set yourself up for that. And you don't want to burn yourself out or your team out or your players out or certainly your relievers out trying to chase a division that inherently probably doesn't actually matter when it comes to your success in the postseason.
The last 4 years, the winner of the division has lost their first playoff series after the bye. The Braves twice.
Yep.
The Braves twice, Phillies twice.
Yeah, history would tell you.
And when the Phillies were the wild card,
they were great.
Now, it doesn't mean that that's going to guarantee, if the Phils are the wild card, they go to the NLCS.
No.
You're
right. You're right.
But it's more that it doesn't matter.
I think there is something. There's been enough examples, and I know you just picked out 4, but those aren't the only ones. But there's been enough examples of having that layoff and how it's hurt teams. I think your phone's playing.
No, it's just a picture coming. It's just an alert from the girls.
Oh, it's an alert. I just looked down and saw the lovely picture, by the way.
Yeah.
But I think there is something to get into a rhythm, right? Baseball is a very rhythm sport. Sometimes having the week off, you can, tell yourself it's about getting healthy and whatever else, but you do wonder.
It's not the same.
Right? There's been enough instances you're thinking like,
yeah, there's something going on. Now,
maybe you should keep playing.
I'm not trying to say, like, if they win the division, then I'll be like, oh, no, they're in trouble.
Right.
Like, so I don't want it to be that part. But I think last night was a perfect example of why I have that feeling about this team, because it was further proof of the depth that they do not have. So a big part of our conversation earlier on was Aaron Nola and what in the world do you do? We've asked this question like 20 times already this year. The contract's long, but even for this season, you have major issues at the 4th and 5th spots in your rotation. That was more proof last night.
Yeah.
Which means that if Christopher Sanchez, Zach Wheeler, Jesus Luzardo, 2 of those 3 guys, Sanchez not, knock on wood because I don't want to jinx anything, but 2 of those 3 guys have had either recent injury issues or enough in their career that you have something in the back of your mind, like, do they burn out at some point? When you look at the bullpen, Joan Duran and Ryan Kirkring have had really strong years. And outside of those 2, you saw what else the Phillies have last night. They don't have enough guys currently to make it through consistently using those arms. Last night was the perfect example of why, if you do not have your top guys feeling good, and that's not just like available. We know that availability and feeling good can be different things when it comes to pro sports. If you don't have them like feeling ready to roll when you hit October, as long as you're in playoff position, you are dead in the water. And not the Negadelphian Philadelphia Phillies fan that says you can't beat the Dodgers. Like, this is, you can't beat anybody.
Yeah, that's just, and it's about, because it's a mentality thing, right? It's about attacking, certainly for the pitchers, it's about attacking each option. Whoever's coming to the plate, attack that guy. Being on the same page as your catcher, that availability, that mental availability is really important. You have to be able to lock in, and you can just see sometimes, like we all watched last night, and you're thinking, he's lost it. He just does not have it.
Yeah.
You just wanted Aaron Nola to try to get through the 5th inning, and when he walked the set, I was like, okay, well, that's it. That's it. I don't know if you say you kept him in too long. He's Aaron Nola. He should be able to get through 5 innings, or at least one more out. I don't. It was awful. But the availability as far as
one more out.
Yeah, I mean, just like, ugh. And I'm sure, he's sitting there. They showed him in the dugout. Like he knows that like you can almost pinpoint when pitchers lose it, right?
Yeah.
You could almost see it. And he was like, no.
People are getting on us about the fact that they thought that he should have gone out of that game earlier last night. Said, John, you should have pushed them more.
You should be able to get 5 innings out of Aaron Nola.
Also, what do you want him to do? Like Seth Johnson and Chase Sugar are throwing out of the
and they had
pen,
also just gone.
right? Like,
You just used Seth Johnson.
you're not throwing Brad Keller. He's not available right now. You don't have a middle reliever that
I was
you
say
feel
you don't
great
have
about.
that guy that can get. Well, I guess it could be Rahel, but you don't have that guy that can eat innings for you, right? You need somebody the old school.
But if Rahel is pitching on Thursday, couldn't that have counted as his?
You're not doing that to a guy, especially a guy that has
What,
not.
he's only going to pitch a few innings tomorrow on Thursday.
They're
He's
not
pitch
gonna
what?
do it.
Ideally, they want him to pitch 5.
They do 1-5. Oh, I thought they wanted 3
The
or 4.
bulk of the
I'm wrong.
innings.
Okay,
Well, he's
I'm
thrown
wrong.
4 to
5
5
and
innings.
4 in
Yeah,
his
he's,
two
he's thrown.
opportunities.
Yeah, the aim for him is to throw
And
5.
he is going to start.
I like that. I
Yeah,
think that's
me
what you
too.
should do.
I mean, I don't mind it. It was funny when you saw Tim Mesa come in and like, hey, he's a starter, he's a reliever, what are you going to do? I feel like he knows he's just a 1 or 2 inning guy, which is fine. But I like the idea of just like, all right, kid, let's see what you got. We've seen it in 5 innings, 4 innings, the 2 different times for Alan Rahel, but they don't have that guy that can get out there and eat up 3 innings.
Yeah, you're also.
It should be Jose Alvarado.
Well, it'd be nice. Or Tanner Banks. Tanner Banks had a really good year last year and was a big part of leveling out like the mid part of the bullpen. He has not been. The past 2 years, right? Tanner Banks comes out of nowhere to be a mid-level guy for the 6th and 7th innings last year. The year before it, Jose Ruiz.
Yes.
That's an important part of the bullpen that the Phillies do not have this year. People won't
That
think
guy's
about
going to
it
give
a
you
lot.
an inning,
Inning.
if that.
It's the chief.
You don't think about those guys because they don't have the flashy entrance with the fire and the spiders and
Very
everything.
important.
But you need people to get through the 6
Look
and
at the
7.
successful seasons the Phillies had. There was always guys that were able, like if your starter's struggling, here's a gentleman that can come out and eat some innings for you.
A gentleman. I like that.
Yes, well, he was. If he was eating 2 and 3 innings.
Ricky brought up a thing yesterday, too, about, that like the way that with a guy like Alvarado, where he'll go out and get 2 outs on 5 pitches, 2 outs on 4 pitches.
And then he really has to earn that
and then he has to throw 20 pitches to get the last out.
It's just...
I had to go back and look at it. He's done that like 4 times.
Yeah, the last 2 outings for sure.
But he's done it like 4 times in the past like 8 outings.
It's been it's a struggle because that's a guy that you're really counting on. I mean, that's just you don't have the closeout, right?
It's mental let up.
Yeah.
You get to
talking about the availability of like locking in and making yourself mentally available, mentally locked in, mentally aware and battling pitching. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about what it goes on in a pitcher's mind. I've been around Ricky enough to know that that's a bad guessing game that I'm going to fail at, but for a lot of reasons. But they have to be able to wash away, right? Even if it's good or bad. And I think that's what we don't realize. Like the Jose Alvarado example is perfect. Gets 2 guys like that, couple of pitches. He needs to wash those away instead of being like, all right, no, I got this. You don't, the best pitchers, you have no, Ranger Suarez is a perfect example. You have no idea if he was ahead in the count, behind the count. He's got 6 earned runs, no earned runs. Cliff Lee, perfect example. Roy Halladay, another prime example. You have no idea what they were doing half the time. I think Christopher Sanchez has that ability as well. Zach Wheeler has that ability. You have no idea. You know on Aaron Nola's face what's going on in the game.
Yeah.
You know, and how Jose Alvarado lets that first couple, and now he's like the guys work to count against him. Now it's 3-1.
Right.
You know, like this is not going to go well.
Speaking of not letting up, so we learned a lesson about the World Cup. We're not going to spend too much time on this, but the game is tomorrow between Team USA and Bosnia and Herzegovina. But
USA.
Yes,
Listen to him.
rooting for Team USA big time in the 8
And
o'clock.
you said what, 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
8 p.m.
That's so perfect.
8 p.m.
Absolutely perfect.
Like a little earlier because I got a bedtime, but that's neither here nor there.
You push that bedtime back.
Yesterday, PK's Germany goes out
wild.
against Paraguay.
This is wild.
Major upset. And you saw Team USA beat Paraguay 4-1 in the group stage. Now, my argument could be,
I don't think this is a wild argument.
It could be, Team USA might look a lot better today
Well, it's
knowing
funny
what Paraguay did.
because I think it was about 2 weeks ago when USA was rolling through. Maybe it was a week or so ago. They rolled through the group stage, something they've never done or hadn't done in whatever 100 years or whatever it was, or never done to the extent. And there was a lot of outside people, like soccer people outside of America that have come over here and been commentators. And then you see, and they're like, listen, don't count out Team USA. And of course, here in America, we're like, no, we know. Like, this is not, we're just here. We're just happy to be here, okay? But there was a decent amount of people that were saying, like, don't count Team USA out. Like, they can actually hang. Don't be surprised if they make it to the round of 16. And I think everybody in America is like, what? Nah.
Be fun.
It would be fun.
But now we're like,
well, here's the other side of the coin. You just watched Germany get knocked out by a significant underdog. So nobody start looking at the round of 16 until you take care of Bosnia tomorrow night. If Germany can lose to Paraguay,
I looked at it the other way.
Well,
I looked at the other way. It's like now going, hey, maybe.
Don't take your eye off the ball, though.
Run faster.
That's right.
Oh, no, none of
Don't
that
forget that. Hey, a lot of local guys on that team. Maybe they live by that motto. We'll get Jason Kelsey to talk to him out in Seattle before the game. But don't count your chickens before they're hatched.
We're just excited to be here.
Yes. But a reminder that in knockout round soccer, no game's easy.
Correct.
We talked about that yesterday. No game is easy. So we'll see how Team
even
USA
the Brazil
does.
game.
No.
Yeah, down to the last moments. So we will keep an eye on Team USA as they get ready for one of the biggest games in recent U.S. soccer history. Coming up next, we'll take a look at the next biggest Phillies game, which is tonight. Christopher Sanchez on the mound. Where are we at with him? Because he's been a little bit shakier in recent times. Are we expecting a bounce back? We'll tell you our evaluation next as we continue Kincade Salciunas. Amy Fadul with us here on 97.5 The Fanatic. going to check our final Twitter poll numbers here in a little bit when it comes to our conversation about the
Twitter poll is it's not a hole-in-one.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'm sorry.
Do we have anything on that, Austin?
Is it different Twitter poll?
Nobody's going to. No executive course, no nothing. We have the official ruling from the PGA.
Yes, I didn't even know that there was that.
PGA, no.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But those are professionals.
Has to be a golf course.
Yeah, I'm not a pro.
Has to be a legit golf course.
Let's check on this because I played on an executive par 3, par 4 course down the shore last weekend, and I was asking if a hole-in-one on that course would have counted as a hole-in-one. What do we have on the text line there, Austin, before we get back to the sports talk?
So this is Rob from Allentown. He said, I'm on a par 3 right now, and if I get a hole-in-one, that's it. One shot, that goes in the darn cup. I'm going to buy an advertisement right there and get my little plaque on the wall right behind John and get a Rob's hole-in-one club deal of the week out of spite. Y'all sound like boomers.
By the way, at our my charity golf tournament last Thursday, guy hit the hole-in-one.
Right.
And won a
car?
car.
Did he get to keep the car? Does he live in Atlanta?
He got a 2-year lease. He got a 2-year lease
Price is Right
on a Mini, and you know those little Minis, but this was the Mini that's like bigger. This is really nice. It's nice that he gets a 2-year lease.
I just got someone texted me and said, "What about Walnut Lane?"
Great question.
Is
what
it
about
par
Walnut
70?
Lane?
It's par
No, it's
62.
Not. Nope. Doesn't count.
Does not count.
Come on. So if John
It's
Chaney,
a par John
back
Chaney
in the
would
day,
Different rules. But John Chaney would probably say not a hole-in-one.
No, he would say not a hole-in-one because John Chaney was a stickler for rules.
probably
Like
fair.
a stickler.
Well, I was more saying if
Let
he
him pull
hits
it up.
one and he claims it, you try and tell him that it's not.
He also-
I'm not
That's
going
the
that
similar.
argument.
It just pars 3s and pars 4s.
He also, he
The longest is
330?
Yeah, 340. They have
Something like
two.
that?
They have a
Yeah,
343.
it was similar. It was basically like 9 holes of Walnut Lane was essentially the course.
John
of that.
Chaney, who also
I'm
told when Sonny Hill told on me, told John Chaney when I did the games at Temple, Dave Spadero and I were doing a broadcast, and Sonny Hill heard the broadcast, and John Chaney said, "I heard you don't know about basketball."
Oh, that's aggressive.
And he said, "I want you here every morning at 5:30. If you're going to do one of my games, you better watch the practice and learn what you're talking
Not
about."
the worst advice.
And he made me sit there, and he.
We didn't make you. You just thought it was a good idea.
No, I mean it was a good. Well, guess what?
You were
I
voluntold
learned
to do
something about voluntold. I like that.
Voluntold to do it.
It was one of the great lessons of John Chaney, and he goes, "I'm not sure you still know anything that I told you, but at least you're here."
I played Walnut Lane, and I got down because I had to look at a birdie, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna bend down to see I put my gloved hand down, came up, it was green."
Oh, they painted.
Well, they put some money now into that course recently.
This was a while ago.
Hopefully it's a little bit.
So you
I love
It was
that.
a while
place.
ago. I was just like,
painted green.
I liked it.
It's a gem.
You look like the
that
Riddler.
course is an absolute gem.
You haven't been, you can't say you're a Philadelphia golfer unless you've played Walnut Lane.
Well, no, they or Old Bastards, which I learned to play at next to Rafferty Subaru. on Route
down in
3.
Newtown Square.
Newtown Square. They used to be called Old Masters, but we called it Old Bastards.
I was going to say that would
when
be
you
an
grew up.
interesting name.
And and that used to be the.
I played FDR.
So FDR, I played FDR. There you go. FDR.
I've been to the range at FDR.
And
RIP
you know what, though?
FDR.
It makes you love the game of golf, though.
I'm
Because
anxious to try Cobb's Creek when it finally
cannot
evolves.
wait.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
I know people have gone to the simulators and the range there, and they say it's awesome.
Sean Brace has. So Sean Brace
I know a lot
has
of people.
A little bit of
couple people
too.
So let's get our
that's
final,
Philly golf for you.
Let's get our final Twitter poll numbers here on our question about the 2026 year so far. The halfway point is a success or not for Philadelphia sports, brought to us by Dr. Avidan Appel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. Austin, what do we have?
Alrighty, so as we get to the halfway point of the year, have we had a successful 2026 so far for Philadelphia sports, leading the way all the way at 52% yes and 48% no.
So it has gotten closer. We have just got a 4% variance there. 52 to
Wow.
That fits.
Yeah, the highest I've seen it jump up was 57.
You really could go either way. You could convince yourself either way.
Interesting conversation.
It
I'm-
is.
I'm
It's been
proud
really
of us
interesting.
for
Yeah, it
making
was good.
Listen, that's points on both sides. I think we should all feel good about our arguments.
Yeah, I'm surprised it came out even because rarely do any of our
Right.
conversations come
I feel
out
like it's
that
like
even.
80-20.
So, and I expected it to be more, but I expected you guys
80-20?
to win. No, I thought it was
Yeah,
going to be like
Negadelphia.
60-40 you guys.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you guys.
Yeah, slightly positive
I'm
today.
proud of our listeners today that, was a very objective class.
You know what that means, though, as we start to look forward. And I know we're still in the summer and football season feels far off, as this hockey and basketball season. But it shows you, hey, the next 6 months, They're going to determine if the year's successful, and we are sitting in the balance right now. Now, Christopher Sanchez, I think, is going to be successful tonight against the Pirates.
So do I.
Amy, are you worried about him at all after like a couple of sketchy performances recently?
I mean, two.
Yeah,
right.
couple.
Yeah, couple. True. The true definition of couple, because some people use that and they mean like 6.
Yeah.
No, I'm not concerned about Christopher Sanchez until Christopher Sanchez gives me real reason to be concerned. Now, the last outing, I was like, got dicey. But no, again, it would have to take 5 or 6 of these to really make my hackles rise for Sanchi.
Yeah, I'm not in the least bit worried. I think tonight it's a great matchup for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
And the thing is, the Pirates have guys that can hit, as we found out. But they're legitimately, like, not just like in the vacuum of bad relievers or a tough start. They have people that can actually hit. The Nationals, the same thing. Like, these are teams that, yes, they're whatever you can think about, the Pirates or the Nats. They can actually hit.
So you're going to be out, Connor, real quick. You're going to be out in the heat when?
Friday.
Because I'm going to be out. I'm playing golf tomorrow afternoon.
I think I might play on Friday.
I'm going to play
even
Monday.
It's going to be hot.
I got a club championship match tomorrow.
Good luck.
I just read.
What time are you playing?
Tomorrow afternoon. How about this? 6 ounces of pickle juice.
Yeah, dude.
Could
pickle
you do?
juice game.
Could you do
get like a towel? Keep a towel.
Oh yeah. Could you do 6 ounces of pickle juice tomorrow morning with me?
I could, but I'm not going to.
Light work.
I'm not going to.
Yeah,
Austin,
pickle juice
you could do it.
delicious.
Okay. You really?
Yeah.
6 ounces?
Sure.
That's a lot of pickle
I'm going to
juice.
try to do 6 ounces of pickle juice tomorrow morning. I don't know that I could get it down, though.
I have beef with pickle juice because it ruins Jameson shots when people get pickleback. Just give me the whiskey. I don't like mixing my whiskey.
It's not mixing it. It's a chaser.
I don't like anything non-alcoholic anywhere near
I got to beat Joe Fennerin in a 5-12 matchup tomorrow, and I'm the 5.
Oh.
So I got to beat him.
Well, good luck to you. Middays with Marks comes your way next. They'll cleanse the palate.
Cleanse the palate.
For us.
Pickle juice coming down.
But, Amy, thank you for the time. As always, Austin, great job on the board. We are back with you tomorrow. But Middays with Marks comes your way next as they continue to react to all the big news in Philadelphia sports today.